Well, welcome everybody to the pre-draft show WarRoom edition. Me and Liam, we're live doing this. Hope you give us some grace here, but we're excited to watch what I think is the NFL event of the year, the NFL draft.
Yeah, the off-season Super Bowl. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose? Mason, we've been talking about this for a while.
100%. And I mean, I think that we're live with the freaking pre-draft rumors that are going crazy right now. I mean, I'm seeing stuff on the Cowboys Twitter that we might be trading George Pickens fourth overall to the Tennessee Titans because he signed his franchise tag.
When did that happen?
That happened like 3 hours ago. He signs the tag, and then Cowboys Twitter's going crazy. Are we trading him? Because Jordan Tyson was one of our first official top 30 visits, and would be the first time we took a wide receiver when we didn't need one.
I was surprised when I saw that Jordan Tyson had a top 30 visit with the Cowboys because, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, why would they need another one? And so this would be very interesting. Are we looking at we're looking at trading George to who for that pick and then something else or some like a which team is needing him? The Giants?
Kind of the trades that I saw getting tossed around were the Chiefs at at 9. That what we did is we just, or at 29, excuse me, not 9, is that we just traded George Pickens for the 29th pick, and we stayed at 12 and 20. And at 12, we took the best wideout, which I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I would actually hate that. I would despise it, really. But it also wouldn't shock me because I've seen Jerry Jones do stupider things in my time.
Yeah. Um, I think it's going to be not just the Cowboys with they got two picks, but we know that the Jets have two picks, the Chiefs have two picks, the Dolphins have two picks. So I'm really excited to see who's going to use that kind of capital to just get one pick up in the top 10. Is it going to be the Cowboys? Is it going to be the Chiefs that move up from they're at 9 right now? Are they going to move up to, above the Commanders? Are they going to try to get that sixth pick? Very exciting times. I don't know which one you want to start with because
It,
everybody's been saying Cowboys are going to trade 12 and 20 for um 3 or 4, right? That's been the rumor.
that's kind of been the rumor, more or less. And I mean, I've also seen the the rumors of, well, what happens with the Jets at 2? Because it's starting to become the situation where everyone seems to think that they're going to take David Bailey over Arvell Reese. I disagree. I don't see it happening. But if that happens, and then the Cardinals are sitting there, I think now you've got the Cowboys, you've got the Chiefs trying to trade up to go get Arvell Reese, is what I think happens. But if they sit and take Arvell Reese, so if it goes David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and then the Titans take Jeremiah Love, now that leads Ruben Bain still on the board. That leaves Sonny Styles on the board, Caleb Downs on the board. And do you see these teams trying to move up to make sure they get Ruben Bain? I also saw Mickey Loomis has had 25 in his time, 25 draft day trades moving up. Do the Saints get aggressive to go try to get David Bailey if the Jets don't take him with the Cardinals? I've seen that today too.
One thing I find interesting is that going through some of these mock drafts, I think there's a real big possibility that there's a small possibility we don't see a lineman go in the top 10. I mean, with these teams' wants and needs, and I feel like the Browns are really the only team screaming that they need like a tackle right there. But even then, they might go and pick Carnell Tate. Um, so I find that super interesting. If there's no lineman in the top 10, that moves everything in the draft backwards because then you'll see a run for linemen at starting around 13 with the Rams going to the Ravens, Bucks, and then the Lions. So, um, yeah, that starting at 2, everybody says David Bailey, but Arvell Reese is a great athlete. I'm interested to see if the Jets do go with David Bailey. What if the Cowboys say, "Yeah, we like Arvell Reese a lot. Let's go and get that third overall pick." So, um, it's just super interesting. And Mason, I'll give you the credit. I was listening to ESPN the other morning. I texted you this, but I'll tell everybody else. Um, you know, you were talking about how the draft really starts at 3, and they were talking about that too, about how we don't know anything that the Cardinals are going to do. Are they going to go offensive lineman? Are they going to go Jeremiah Love? Are they going to go with an edge rusher? So that's really when the exciting part starts, and then from 3 to like 13, I think is I'm pretty clueless about.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get in the game, everyone's trying to predict where people are going to go. It only takes one move, one butterfly effect to kind of change everything. And I think for us, where we kind of see the draft is we know a crazy amount of offensive line are probably going to get drafted in the first round. Because after you get past that top crop of players, there's none worth taking day 2 or 3. And so when does that run start? And then secondly, with wide receiver between Cardinal Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Makai Lemon. After those three are off, I think there's a pretty big steep drop off. So I think the
Yeah.
cascading effect, to your point, Liam, is who starts the run? Do the Browns start it at 6? Do the Commanders start it at 7? Do the Titans shock everybody and take a wideout at 4? When does that run start? And that's where I think you'll see the draft really take off.
Yeah, it might be disappointing to some this year because there's really is Ty Simpson going to be picked first in the first round? I have no idea. We know Fernando. So one quarterback, and then I think 3 wide receivers for sure. Casey Concepcion is there with the Steelers later in the round, but I really think one quarterback, one running back, and then 4 wide receivers. There's only going to be like 6 top skills positions. So a lot of those fans that are high adrenaline, they want to see that, yes, we got that other weapon to help us out. It's not going to be that type of draft. There's going to be a lot of defense, a lot of trenches, which we love. And so we'll be talking about all of that. Where else do we want to go? Here, I have something. I think besides Fernando Mendoza, I think I saw that the other one of the second highest percentage mock drafted pick. All right. So the Jets, it was really tough because it's between David Bailey and Arvell Reese. Who are they going to pick? That's like, it's like a 60-40%. The other one that was the highest, second highest was, Mace, do you want to take a guess?
Vega Ione to the
Most,
Ravens.
okay, that's a good one. But I think I saw it was actually Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings. Thieneman.
Really? Yeah, actually, that that's
Isn't that
interesting.
interesting?
That's very interesting because I think a lot
Because
of
I was thinking today, like Harrison Smith retired, Dylan, I think it's Thieneman or no, Thieneman. He's the reincarnation of Harrison Smith, right? Pretty much through and through, and he's a good ball player. But I was thinking today, like the Vikings just they lost a nose tackle to the Packers in free agency. What if they go Caden McDonald, right? What if they go Peter Woods right there? And then for me, that changes the entire back half of the draft at 19. So, what did you want to say right there?
I was just gonna say, you brought up an excellent point too because we've been so focused on the top 10, but the other part of this is we haven't really been looking at the back half. And a team that came to mind for me that I think might be in the position to actually trade up for a player that nobody's really talking about is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have 13 picks in this draft. They're not going to make all of those selections. And at pick 21, with 7 picks in the top 100, I wonder if Makai Lemon falls a little bit, Monroe Freeling maybe falls, if they go trade up and go get them. I mean, because I think that the way this draft works is it's like every single NFL draft. Every NFL team's going to have roughly 18 to 20 first round grades on players. In this class for us, we had 16, courtesy of the WarRoom player grade model, because we do our own scouting here at the WarRoom, which if you've been following us along, we appreciate that. But that's where I think it's going to come into play is what teams have grades on what players, and it's always around pick 20 where we start to see really shockers of picks because that's where everyone has people ranked differently.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the Steelers. I was doing a mock draft. I didn't post it. I'm sorry. I was a little scared. I had one where just everything goes crazy. And one of my favorite picks also in the back half that's going to keep me up the entire time, which is going to keep this going until pick 32 is the Seahawks. We know that they want to move out. They shouldn't have said that because now people are probably wanting to give less to them because they know that they want more picks. So, but anyways, some of the teams that I'm looking at, some of the teams that we're hearing at the Sideline Journal is we're hearing the Cardinals. and that is pretty much contingent on Ty Simpson not going in the first round until 32. Cardinals reach out to the Seahawks, say like, "Hey, we like this guy," because the Cardinals want to jump the Jets. All right, that's kind of like the reasoning we're looking at. Number two is I think the Bears. They got picked 25. We'll see who kind of slides down and like maybe they get their D tackle. If Peter Woods or Caden McDonald kind of fall, we could see them getting taken right there. But then they also need a safety. Kevin, I call him Bird the Third. Kevin Bird the Third, their safety last
Yeah,
year, who was
yeah.
dominant left. So they need to replace their safety. I'm wondering if Dylan Thieneman falls down. That means Emmanuel Warren McNeil will be there. So I'm wondering the Bears also have a good amount of capital to where they might want to trade into that 32. And then lastly, yeah, the Steelers. You brought it up. They have 13 picks. It's in Pittsburgh. Last year we saw that the Packers did a little fan service when they were picking Matthew Golden. Obviously, the GM and the head coach were on the same page because he wasn't used at all the entire regular season. So what I'm trying to get to is that I could really see the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. They have 13 picks. Trade 3 or 4 of them to the Seahawks. They'll take it. You come back in, the fans get hyped. You pick 32, and they'll just pick somebody. I really don't. I think there's going to be like a linebacker, is what I'm thinking, Mason. Probably like Anthony Hill Jr. or C.J. Allen, one of those guys to help out Pittsburgh when they pick Casey Concepcion at 21.
And
That
see,
was a lot right there. What do you think?
no, I love that. I think that's a really great strategy for the Pittsburgh Steelers because it's like you said, they have the Seahawks and Chargers are teams you need to look at to trade back, and the Bears as well because of their lack of day 2 and day 3 draft capital. And then there's some draft capital heavy teams like the Texans, like the Jets, and then as you said, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think if they go KC Concepcion at 21 as best player available, they get their slot playmaker that they're looking for. But then secondly, and most importantly, that then puts them in position to where when they trade back up, they can go BPA at their needs. And my deal is if Blake Miller for some reason falls to the bottom half of the first round and he's still sitting on the board, if the O-line coach in me, if I'm the Steelers, I'm trading up and making Troy Fontenot be a guard and I'm drafting Blake Miller to be my right tackle. And then if you do that, I really think they have the potential to have a top 5 offense if with Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback. Because that would make Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, KC Concepcion. You would have Blake Miller at right tackle, Troy Fontenot at guard, Broderick Jones at left tackle. You'd have all of the tight ends in the world between Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth. Like that is a really exciting offense. Case in point to that as well,
I
C.J. Allen I also think would be in play there for them too.
Yeah. And then like that's pretty much like I think their top needs if they get that slot receiver and then just a good linebacker. Then yeah, you don't need 13 picks then. You'll get the rest throughout, but yeah, having 13 picks hometown, we could see that coming. I also think regarding the Steelers is that Aaron Rodgers not being officially yet signed. I bet there is a deal in place and this is all just sort of helping. I think there's something mysterious on their side to where it's helping them not announcing the pick yet because most places you can do a mock draft at or most experts they still have quarterback on there as a need. So I'm just wondering if that's just something that they're doing to make other people think that they still need one. I bet there's a deal in place or there's already they've already moved on and they're going to go with Will Howard or Mason Rudolph, but I think that's just there. They're going to announce it soon. um, but yeah, they got something worked out for the Steelers.
They've
Who
got
else do we want to talk about? What
well,
about you have some?
no, you shoot, you shoot.
Let's talk about Caden Proctor. He on a lot of lists is a top 5 lineman, you know. He's got a great physical traits, but Mason has him as his 6th best lineman. Says that we're seeing the ceiling right now. And earlier this week on the Pat McAfee show, Nick Saban was on talking about his favorite players. You know, Caleb Downs used to play there for Saban in Bama, and then they were asking about Caden Proctor. Nick Saban basically called Caden Proctor fat
Pretty much.
2 days before. Yeah, he was basically saying if he gets outside the building, he'll put on some weight. Do you want that as a first round offensive tackle,
So
Mason? A guy like that?
this is the hot take, and YouTube might strike us down, but I've said this since I watched Caden Proctor. Okay, I don't want an offensive lineman that has a tramp stamp as a tattoo. And when you watch Caden Proctor play, the only thing that you first notice, he's just got a big fat tattoo on his lower half because to me, he's just a player that is off of my draft board, purely off of the intangibles. Somebody that is at a flight risk every offseason to show up 400 pounds heavy is not somebody that's worth drafting, especially when his film grade's 6.13, which means I think the film he even put up means he'd be an average starter at best. That's not worth a top 10 pick, let alone, or a first round pick, let alone a top 10 pick. And I don't even think the potential is that high. NFL offensive lineman from Alabama, I know you're not supposed to helmet scout. That's the worst thing you can do in the business. But the coaching scheme, the coaching eye in me, and the coaching philosophy that's been at Alabama with the offensive line room has not panned out in the NFL. I mean, look at Evan Neal. Look at J.C. Latham. Look at DJ Fluker for some of you old heads. Look at Jonah Williams. And then now look at Caden Proctor. I just think there's a history of not good offensive line development there. Then you add Nick Saban coming in talking about basically this guy has character issues, and he'd be off my draft board. The sad thing, though, is I think I know how coaches think, and I know what's going on in these war rooms right now, which is why we want you to join the fan war room here. But they're seeing the talent in the ceiling and thinking they can coach him to get there. But if he ends up, what I think the Browns do is they trade down and pick him at 12 or at 6. I think it'll be the biggest bust of this year's draft.
Hot take right there. Hot take. I mean, come on. Caden Proctor is 6'7", 366. He's a giant. He's going to make sure that left side's fine.
I suppose.
I
I don't
find
know.
it. No, I think would I want to spend a first round pick on a guy who's supposed to lead the offensive line who doesn't have any discipline? You know, Nick Saban saying that if he's not in the building, he's just gonna waste himself away. So that's definitely something you gotta worry about. And so for me, I have him falling bad. I would rather probably pick the Arizona State Max how do you
Ayakaker.
say it?
I don't even know if I'm saying
Yeah,
it right. It's just I spit it, I spit it out.
what it looks like. Yeah, I'd rather pick him or you could probably get Caleb Lumu is probably going up in everybody's boards or yeah, I mean you love Monroe Freeling. I would be hyped to see you've been on him since day one. That would be awesome to see him go like 2 because we all know Francis is probably going to get that 1, but Monroe Freeling if he jumps up Mason, you're going to pop some champagne.
Probably so, just because it's been one of my hotter takes of the draft season. I feel like back in February when I was talking about him, really contributed to the narrative of him rising up draft boards. Because I mean, if y'all don't follow us on TikTok, we're there as well. We've got a community of about 700 people, and normally about roughly 15,000 people tune in to every take that we do on there. And I mean, I put one up back in February, right around when the combine came out, that got around 20,000 views, talking about how Monroe Freeling does things to the tackle position that you simply can't coach. And he does it consistently on tape. And the specific ways that he does it is in the snap opposite game and zone. And so when an offensive lineman snaps opposite, they have their combo called to the second level linebacker. And when a linebacker and a defensive lineman squeeze and scrape over the first level, an offensive lineman has to bang one way and snap to the opposite side. Monroe Freeling, because of his athleticism, even when he's out of frame and position, can do that at such an elite level. And so because of that, I'm just sitting here. If you can get him in the right place, let him get more experience underneath his belt, I think the sky's the limit. And he reminds me a lot of Colton Miller, the current left tackle for the Raiders. I think that's his comp. And to your point, I think his spot, likely landing spot, is the Browns at 6, or I think his floor is the Lions at 17. I don't see how he makes it past 17.
We're talking a lot about offensive line. Let's flip to the other side, Mason. Dexter
100%.
Lawrence. That trade was absolutely insane, would you say?
I mean, I love it for the Bengals. What do you think from the Giants side of things making that trade?
Um, Here I'll pause right here because I gotta shout out Matthew Black who's watching it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Shout out Matthew Black and the gang.
Shout out.
Um, um, Dexter Lawrence. I why you can't find a nose tackle. I know Dexter Lawrence is good, and you can talk all about the stats about what he did last year and what he's done in his career, and you can give me his traits, but It's just a nose tackle position. I mean, I feel like it's not difficult to be good at it. You don't have to get a whole lot of stats. So I thought the Bengals saying that there wasn't a single pick that they liked at pick 41 for D tackle, I thought that was a little crazy. Yeah, they wouldn't use that 10th pick for a nose tackle. That'd be foolish. But, they could have gotten Caleb Downs as a guy that could be right there. And then at pick 41, you could have picked there's Peter Woods, Caden McDonald, and then at 3 you could have picked somebody like Caleb Banks. I know he has that broken foot, but Lee Hunter is a guy. I know his athletic score was not good, but you just need a big guy to clog the A gap. So I just didn't understand why they would spend a 10th pick on a guy that's going to cost a lot of money when you guys were just talking about how you can't afford Trey Hendrickson, and then just say, yeah, give us Dexter Lawrence. I don't understand it.
See, and I think the opposite point of view, and I think that's what's so interesting about draft philosophy as not only a fan, but what these GMs think about. And it's because I look at it as what they need is they need defensive tackle, corner, and offensive line help still. And at 10, I think that there is no defensive tackle worth taking 10th overall. And I think there's a real scenario where Caleb Downs and Mansour Delane are both off the board, and Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, and Ruben Bain. And because of that, what defensive player can you take at 10 that's going to be better than Dexter Lawrence here and today? And that's where I look at it. And then I look at the flip side in the second round, they can go get a nickel defender like Traden Stukes out of Arizona that's really good. They could get Keontae Scott out of Miami. I think that Zakay Wheatley is somebody that's higher up for me that they could get in day 2. And so I think that's kind of just how it shakes out. And to your point about those good defensive tackles in day 2, I think that's why the Giants made the trade, right? Imagine they come out of this with 2 top 10 picks and Caleb Banks in the second round. We'll be hailing them as the favorites in the NFC East.
Very good point. I'm watching Mike Vrabel right now take the stand.
Oh, shoot.
I believe this is live, his press conference.
I think it is. He said he's going to take it at 6 o'clock. Tell you what, I can actually get that.
Is he about to quit?
My
Is
previous
he gonna take
picks
a hiatus?
don't meet the standard that I hold myself to. They don't. And what I believe is best for the 2 most important things in my life, my family and this football team, is for us to take the necessary steps to work together,
Better not be a whole lot of nothing.
and to give them what I told them I'd give them, which is the best version of me. And that's what we're going to do. And that's going to start.
That was it? Okay, that was just a portion.
That'll continue this week.
Okay, that was a whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of air.
Yeah, I was sitting over here thinking this is fixing to be a major announcement, but no, I mean, and that's a perfect segue to talk about it, right? How crazy is that? That
Sure.
the biggest headline going into draft day is like back when with Laramie Tunsil and the bong mask video. Here we are talking about Diana Rossini, an NFL reporter, and the NFL and an NFL head coach. It's just kind of wild.
We're not talking about Jeremiah Love or Fernando Mendoza singing his praises as the number 1 overall pick. Huge honor. Last year the NFL kind of brushed over Cam Ward. His phone call wasn't live when he was crying, and now this year we got just terrible management by a head coach and an NFL reporter. I mean, this seems like just a lot of fake drama, just a lot of drama or whatever. But I think this has she's an NFL reporter. She was inside buildings that every single building. She was getting kind of the inside scoop before anything else. And she was having this kind of thing with a former head coach with the Titans and then a head coach with the Patriots that we know of for going on for 6 years. It's kind of ridiculous because, and then people are going through her Twitter account and being like, how did she know that the Titans were re-signing Ryan Tannehill and not going after Tom Brady when everybody thought, this was back in 2020, when this first started happening, we could see from the reports today. She was knowing about stuff. She was being told stuff. She was sharing it. What was she telling Vrabel when he was a Titan coach and then when he was on the Patriots last year? That's just kind of where I find it to be really disgusting, is I bet there was stuff going back on. So I want to get to the bottom of this, Mason.
In case in point right there too, that's why as well, she lost her job because of that. Like, there are ethical standards in reporting that you got to live up to be able to trust sources, be a trusted person in the media, and she didn't live up to it. So that's why I think that the hammer went down on her. And what's even crazier is I saw a tweet that in 2021, the birth of her son with her husband, she named him Michael after Mike Vrabel. I mean, come on.
Let's get a test on that kid. That's just disgusting. I'm not a for the NFL. This is pretty terrible. And then I think, well, I'll find it hilarious here, but so somebody's known about this since 2020, and they've been holding on to those photos for 6 years. And then it was like 2 weeks ago, they were at a hotel, and then like some random person saw that and tweeted out immediately, and then it just all came. Um, yeah, I told Mason this morning. I want to hear that Patriots meeting last week or at the beginning of this week when apparently he had the locker room and he spoke. I want to hear what he said, and if he was like, this is just a one-time thing, don't worry about it, and then it comes out, oh hey, 6 years ago, this has been going on for a long time actually. So
And then
yeah, the NFL needs to invest.
well, I was gonna say, and then Trevion Henderson coming out 2 weeks before that, talking
Oh
about
yeah,
how all he believes in is Jesus Christ, and that's the center of his life. And he's told from that he needs to check himself, and then that's what his head coach is doing. So I mean, it's hilarious and kind of laughable. And I think that if the Patriots went 4-13, we'd be seeing Mike Vrabel as fired, but instead they were the runner-ups to the Super Bowl.
yeah, incredibly embarrassing. But
Enough about that.
let's talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, Jermod
Let's talk about the
McCoy.
draft.
Jermod McCoy, my 10th ranked
I was
overall player. Where do you think the fall happens for him? Do you think that they overlooked the knee injury stuff? Or how do you see it playing out?
There's reports that came out this week that it's not concerned. There's injury still not concerning his injured knee, but there's something else in like his heel, I think was the report. But that definitely is going to throw flags. We saw Will Johnson, the #1 cornerback last year, go from a first round to a second round, just like that. He lost a bunch of money right there, and they were saying it was because it was his physical wasn't great. So Jermod McCoy, look at his tape from 2024. Man, yeah, he should be cornerback 1, and then you got to say, well, he missed an entire year of football due to an injury.
Well,
That's when he starts.
it's like you said, it's the tape, it's the athletic profile with him, right? Because of how athletic he is. But corner, you correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you play that in college, corner? So you get it, you know it. But it's the shortest
I
shelf
was a
life.
defensive back safety.
Defensive back safety. Well, defensive back, it's the shortest shelf life in the NFL. 100%.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and so just knowing that they didn't have. Oh, we have the Star Spangled Banner. No, defensive back. Yeah, it's just scary for a team to commit a first round pick with a guy that didn't even play at all last year. We saw it. I've seen people all week say Jamar Chase. Remember him? His wasn't due to injury. You know, it was just he took money from OBJ or something like that. So I am kind of worried about Jermod McCoy. He is super talented, and there's people that have done private drills with him, and they might say, yeah, he looks great. But just it's tough for me. I'm really looking forward to see how far he falls and who goes above him. Like Colton Hood potentially could be that guy. We know Mansour Delane is going to be that probably #1 guy. It'd be insane if somebody goes above him. But then there's also Avion Terrell, and then Brandon Siss. Like, who's going to go above him? It would be insane if he falls out of the first round, Mason. He'd probably be the biggest slide for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think he would be, and I think a player that I think the NFL might secretly be higher on than I am. Just because when I watch players at smaller level competition, I always associate the competition to what they're playing. Because, for example, if you took Jeremiah Smith, the freak from Ohio State, and you put him on Georgia State, he'd probably have 3,000 receiving yards. And so there's a corner from San Diego State named Chris Johnson that you love everything that you see on tape. You just kind of worry about what is the translation going to be going from playing Mountain West wide receivers to line up against Jamar Chase? I think that he is a sneaky pick to be the second corner off the board in this year's draft, just because of what he did at the Combine, how he showed up at the Senior Bowl, and then the athletic profile. He's my 49th ranked player because of risk factors alone, because of the 1 year starting experience and then the lower level competition. And so that gives him, to me, a second round grade. But I think that that's the player that comes into question, that corner might not get taken immediately, but at the lower half of this first round, when the Dolphins pick again, the Chiefs pick again, the 49ers could use a corner. I think, honestly, just kind of looking at the teams here as well, the Cowboys, if we don't do it at 12, we do it at 20. The Buccaneers at 15. I think it's a name that we could hear call that nobody's expecting.
Yeah, quarterback is very scary. Mason, let's talk about quarterback. We haven't hit this yet, and we only got 15 minutes till the draft starts. Crazy how time flies. Um, Ty Simpson was not really talked about until Dan Orlovsky brought him up and started, dying on his hill. And so I just want to talk about Ty Simpson for a bit. And we'll talk about Ty Simpson first, and then I got to follow up after this. But
Yeah.
what do you see out of Ty Simpson? Because for me, it's 15 starts. He's the size of like a Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, and he doesn't have, like, Anthony Richardson was the other most recent quarterback that was picked in the first round based off of 15 starts. All right. And he was picked at 4, which is pretty high, but he was picked there because he's a giant, he's a freak athlete, and then he could throw the ball 80 yards.
Yep.
All right. Didn't work out. Shouldn't have started that early, maybe. Still needed to learn. So looking at Ty Simpson, then it's like he doesn't have those physical attributes. He can't throw 80 yards like Anthony Richardson can, and he's the size of Bryce Young. Why would I want to spend a first round pick on him?
And I think it's a great point, and I think I just go back to the philosophy of Fernando Mendoza clearly far and away is a better quarterback prospect than Ty Simpson. But I don't think the gap is as far as people have made it out to be, which I think Dan Orlovsky's paid to say that, but I think there's some truth rooted in what he was saying, because Ty Simpson's coming from an NFL-style scheme in college. Ryan Grubb was the OC for the Seahawks for 2 years before that. He was out at Washington with Kalen DeBoer. That's how he ended up at Alabama. And Ty Simpson consistently makes NFL level throws, progressing from the first, second to third read, operating under center, having multiple play calls, calling at the line, going can, and checking it. I see it on tape. Would I take him in the first round? Based off of player ranking, no, he's my 37th ranked or 35th ranked player. But it always goes back to with quarterbacks. If you even have them relatively 30 spots ranking of where you're going to pick, then that means you believe they can be a starting quarterback. So you go and take them. So if I'm the Cardinals, I'm trying to trade down to then trade back up to make him my quarterback, because I do think Ty Simpson starting day one, week one for the Cardinals is a better situation than Jacoby Brissett. I truthfully do.
That's a hot take. People would say, like, they always take a page out of the Packers book, and it's like, sit them for a little bit and then let them start. But like, the quarterback room is Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, and Ty Simpson. Then I'm not a fan of that. So I don't. I just he has some fun tape, and everybody talks about his processing skills. But for me, this is like another guy where I think I'm just not a big fan of him. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't have the crazy size. He doesn't have, for me, the arm ability. And so first round is insane. Here, I'll talk about this now. And this is a hot take. I don't think Carson Beck is going in the first round. And he left a bitter taste in everybody's mouth from that championship game. He was in a championship game. But he has experience, and he can play quarterback. I don't think he's a starter, Mason. I'm not trying to say that. I think he'd be a good backup, and I think he would be worth, like, if the Cardinals picked him in the third round, I think that would be better value for the future of their team rather than Ty Simpson.
See, we're gonna disagree, because I think quarterback ranking wise, I've got it Ty Simpson, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, and Carson Beck in a distant fifth. I would go Drew in the third round if that's what the Cardinals are going to do before I would go Carson Beck. Because I think Carson Beck is Dylan Gabriel. He doesn't have the elite arm strength. He's just a consistent college starter and plays the game from the brain box. And I think we saw how that played out with the Browns last year. But I don't know, man. We're freaking,
Sure.
13 minutes away from seeing Ty Simpson go number 1 overall? No, I'm kidding. It's going to be
Nice.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
But, man,
Star
that's
Spangled Banner right now. What else do we have to talk about? Um, there's rumors also about a Brian Thomas Jr. trade.
that is a. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that there's a chance of that happening. You talk about Brian Thomas Jr. What you think of him as a wide receiver?
Me, he's an LSU product, so there's already good standing there. But he's just, he's got great talent. Last year, he had a big case of the yips. It was very scary. He just couldn't catch a ball. He couldn't catch a slant to save his life. And then they get Parker Washington, they get Jacoby Myers, they drafted Travis Hunter, and he starts struggling a lot too. And so talent is there. We know that. Does he need a fresh start? Maybe. So I'm not giving up on Brian Thomas Jr. I think that he'll be fine. If he needs a fresh start, he'll be worth a lot because he has the talent. He has all the attributes. He has that first season looked phenomenal. And if he had a downgrade, I'm buying low on him as a team, Mason. I know the Jags want a first round pick because they traded last year for Travis Hunter. We know that deal. So first round would be hard to give up, but you could definitely buy him low, I think.
We'll see. So I would say the Patriots, but we think they're getting A.J. Brown. Take them off the board. But, I mean, if you're sitting here and you're the Chiefs at 29, if you're the Dolphins at 30, if you're the Eagles at 23, if you're the Chargers at 22, maybe you're the Texans, because I saw some stuff about Nico Collins. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. is that good of a wide receiver. And for the Jags' perspective, fresh start, they got Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers. I don't think that that's going to be the problem. Their major problems on defense because they lost Devin Lloyd, and their defensive tackle situation is pretty awful. And I think where you could see a trade like that get made is if the Jags see Cade McDonald hasn't been picked, and it's like pick 30, pick 31, pick 29, and they trade up to go get their defensive tackle. And then in the second round, they take a wideout like Jeremy Bernard. I think you could see it happen. I wouldn't do it because you and I both know how good he can be because of our dynasty league that we've got where I had him for his year that he went crazy I had him, then I traded him to you his rookie year. He went crazy. It looks like you won the trade. And then this last year, the trade was for James Cook, and now it looks like I won the trade. So it's interesting how players can change year to year because we might be sitting here next year and Brian Thomas Jr. got traded, and he's a 1,500-yard wideout. So it's really interesting. Do NFL teams, do they make decisions for 1 year, or do they look at it in 3 or 5 year windows?
That's true. Hopefully some of these, we know that some teams do not have a 3 to 5 year plan. We don't even know if they have a plan. I'm looking at the Jets, but I think I find it interesting because really, I think we've talked about how there's 3 first round talents for wide receiver in this draft, right?
Yep.
Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. I find it interesting that George Pickens and Brian Thomas Jr. have kind of popped up on the radar for being traded in this draft for more picks. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Is there any other trade rumors that we know of? I think we talked about the rest. I mean, Zay Flowers signing an extension this morning. Does anybody care about that?
Who knows?
Sorry, Ravens fans.
I think.
I saw in the stats when they're talking about what?
No, you go ahead.
I just saw when they were naming off his attributes for what he's done to get this little extension was like 2-time Pro Bowl. Same Pro Bowl which Shedeur Sanders got after playing like 4 games or something. So we got to lose that meaning. That doesn't mean anything in the NFL anymore. Come on.
It doesn't at all, and I hate that they've done that to the Pro Bowl because it used to mean something. But when we could sit here in 2026 and say Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders and Pro Bowl quarterback Snoop Huntley, there's something wrong with the award.
Pro Bowl, 2-time Pro Bowl Zay Flowers, and 1-time 1,000-yard receiver gets his 5th-year extension. So, yeah, that's pretty stupid if you ask me.
Well,
less than 10 minutes out.
Less than 10 minutes out. And if you guys are watching with us live, we appreciate it. We hope to see you keep riding with us throughout the draft. But kind of my question to you, Liam, is the Titans sitting there at pick 4. If you are the GM and there is the decisions between Jeremiah Love, one of the wide receivers, or Sonny Styles, or Ruben Bain, what do you do?
I would go. I've thought about this for a while, and we've talked about, Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. Like them, they can get the job done. I was looking at some stats recently, and yeah, they can get it done. But last year they ranked 29th in rushing yards. What was the problem? When you pick a stat like that, there's always going to be exceptions. But Jeremiah Love is the best player in the draft. A lot of people are saying he's got great size. Somebody compared him to like Bijan Robinson the other day. We gotta settle with that. All right. I don't know where he's gonna rank in the running back rankings. We'll do that throughout the summer of where we think he'll be. But he's not gonna be top 5. I don't think. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. I think you still gotta give respects to Saquon, even though he had a bad year. He's still up there because he can be explosive. But I find that insane. But still. You would love to help out Cam Ward with a run game. We'll get a wide receiver later, sure. We got to get an offensive lineman. I think that the Titans, really, I'm being honest, I think the Titans should stay and draft the best player in the class. Sorry, Mason. Because I know those Cowboys want.
Well, so here's the real interesting thing is if the Cardinals can't find anybody to trade down and they take Jeremiah Love at 3, then what do you think the Titans do it for? It's one of our audience members' questions here. And I mean, honestly,
the Titans at 4. I was talking about.
Yeah,
I was talking about the.
I'm saying if the Cardinals take Jeremiah Love at 3, and
okay,
the Tennessee
okay.
Titans at 4, what do you do?
Some people are talking about edge there, but I would probably go with Sonny Styles. I think he's a fantastic athlete. Let's make sure the linebacker spot is filled. We gave away Tavondre Sweat, but we picked up a edge rusher with that. You still need an edge on the other side, but I'd rather just be covered in the middle. Sonny Styles is an athlete. He can play the run very well, and then he can also. We've seen a lot of highlights of him in zone coverage, and he's really good at reading the quarterback's eyes. I really think that Sonny Styles right there would be the move. Do you think an edge would be the move, Mason?
See, I think that's where Ruben Bain would go, to be honest with you, just because he's the second best player in this class for me. I have him ranked at a 90.0 overall, and I just think that we've gotten so caught up as fans with arm length that we've lost the narrative on what honestly matters with edge rushers, which is speed to power, and nobody does that better than Ruben Bain in this draft class. So that's how I see it for the Titans at 4. If Jeremiah Love for the Cardinals is taken at 3, it's the decision between Sonny Styles and Ruben Bain. What I don't see any planet is that Carnell Tate gets picked at 4. There's just no way.
No, not at all. But I'll say on Ruben Bain, that's Ruben Bain slander on his arm length had to be produced by big Kansas City Chiefs, big New Orleans Saints, and big Washington Commanders. Because one of them, if he drops that far, they're going to take him for sure.
Well,
I've been telling Mason this ever since that the arm length came out over the combine. When he was absolutely dominating the college football playoffs, do you remember all those tweets and analysts talking about, yeah, he's pretty good, but his arms are small?
No,
No.
was.
Everybody was talking about Ruben Bain is an X factor. Watch out, his third down. They're gonna bring Ruben Bain, and there's gonna have to be a tight end chip block. The guard and the tackler are gonna have to take him on, and then the running back is also gonna have to help on that side too. So he's definitely just a wrecking ball, and so I think that slander. I would absolutely just love it if Ruben Bain went from. They're calling Arvell Reese an edge rusher. They're calling David Bailey's an edge rusher. And Ruben Bain has gone from 3, maybe even down to like the 4th edge rusher because of that arm length on a lot of people's mock draft. I find that insane. I would love if the Titans picked him right there.
I just think it'd be an incredible fit for what they try to do because you're always trying to get a stable of pass rushers in the league now. You're never trying to just have 2 edges that are always going to stay. And I mean, I've got a rebuild in the pipe for the Titans that I was kind of prepping for, because part of what we're going to be doing on the Sideline Journal as well is kind of a realistic simulation. We're going to do an offseason rebuild for all top 10 picks. While doing that for the Titans, Oladafe Oweho is a third-round pick from last year that had 5.5 sacks, 25 pressures. He's a speed edge rusher. You've got Jermaine Johnson, who's somebody that can set a powerful edge that's also a speed rusher. If you get Ruben Bain and add him to that stable, you now have your power rusher that you can line up inside at 3 techs, send them into the 1 technique, line them up in a wide 9, manipulate them all over your defense. And I think that's what makes Robert Saleh's defense so good. But to your earlier point on Carnell Tate, his best landing spot has to be the Commanders at 7, right? Because he would be a number 2 wide receiver, slotting in with Scary Terry. I mean, I haven't really thought about that pick for a little bit, but for what Carnell Tate's done in college, we've only ever seen him operate as a number 2 wideout. How good would that be, him being a number 2 wideout next to Scary Terry?
I haven't been a super big fan of Carnell Tate because, yeah, what you brought up is that he's been the second look for the Ohio State offense the entire year. And so everybody's saying that he's got great size. I'll give him that. But for me, it's just he's got good route running, but it's not great. His footwork is all right coming off the line. He doesn't have much separation. He has a big body, but I mean, he's 6'3", almost 200, but I don't see him use it that much when I was watching the film. So, he could have potential. You were talking about the Commanders, Mason. I've seen people saying that the Giants need to take him, but I think that would be awful with him and Malik Neighbors. They don't complement each other. They take away. I think Jordan Tyson at 5, I wouldn't hate that because I think he complements Malik Neighbors much better than Carnell Tate. What do you think about that?
Oh, Jordan Tyson complimenting Malik Neighbors. I agree with that 100%. I think that is exactly what he does as a number 1 playmaker, right? Jordan Tyson is the only person that shows yard after catch, fluid route runner, incredible elite contested catch player, incredible playmaker after the catch. He's everything you want in a number 1
But his injuries.
receiver. But we talk about injuries. We get scared about the injuries. Who cares? Ultimately,
Has anybody looked at that hit in Colorado?
Freak hit. It was a freak situation. This is a player too.
What do people want him to do?
Well, that dude with his hamstring injury too, he was fighting his coaches to come back and play, and they were the ones that shut him down. I have no character concerns with him. I think he's the only true, if I'm selling my house and betting on it, he is the number 1 wideout in this class.
And we could see him be taken at 5. Man, I'm getting hyped. What else do we want to hit before the draft starts? I think Raiders are about to be on the clock. Is there anything you want to fit in here? What's your hot take? What's your hot take for the draft? Who falls out? Who stays in? Who jumps up? I'm scrolling our little WarRoom board right now.
Honestly, what I'm
for me, I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go first. He's dropped down for sure, and I'll take him just because this was a guy I was on early that I was like the biggest bust. He was going as a high edge rusher. I never understood it. Keldrick Falk, I think, falls out of the first round.
And see, I don't like my most recent mock that I did, he fell out of the first round for me too. And I think really the only team that I see as a good fit for him is the Cowboys at 20, and I think they take him because they can't find a way to trade down.
But he's not an edge rusher.
No.
He is a defensive end.
He's definitely a 5 technique and an odd front, base down 3-4, and he can't stand up in edge or rush the passer in a wide 9. Because I think
and he'd be good. He's 6'6". He's ginormous.
100%.
You just gotta use him right.
You gotta hope that he turns into Calais Campbell, truthfully, is the profile for him. But I mean, his film leaves a lot to be desired because you just don't see him consistently winning with power. You just see him bullying people. You don't see the hand technique. You don't see him being gap sound. He doesn't shed double teams. Everything that you would draft him on is because the ceiling is that high for him.
Who do you have? Who do you have falling or jumping in?
My hot take is that, let me count it up here, offensive linemen that I think are going to get taken in the first round. I've got Monroe Freeling, I've got Spencer Fano, I've got Francis Maui Noah, I've got Vivek Ione, I've got Blake Miller, I've got Caden Proctor, I've got Max Eichenacre, and I've got Keelan Rutledge, and then Caleb Lomu. I've got 9 offensive linemen that I think are going to go day one, which might set an NFL draft record. Don't know that off the top of my head, but 9 first-round offensive linemen.
Okay, I was trying to look up like what are the odds for number of linemen. Um, what is the over under? Is it like 8.5, 9.5? But um, yeah, Roger Goodell is on the stage.
We have got Roger Goodell live out here about to announce that the NFL draft is open, which, I kind of feel bad for Raiders fans because they don't really have any draft excitement because we all know who the pick's going to be. But I also, at the same time, don't think we've talked enough about Fernando Mendoza as a prospect.
If they traded Max Crosby, they could have had another one. They could have had that, where are the Ravens at again? They could have had that 14th pick, right?
Which, imagine if they did that and they were taking Omar Cooper Jr. at 14 to give Mendoza his guy back from college. That would have been crazy if that went through. But unfortunately, the Ravens were like, no, we're not doing that. Who do we got on the screen here? Is that TJ Watt?
TJ Watt on the left, Cameron Hayward on the right. Look at that guy. He's huge.
Cam Hayward's massive, man. And I mean, what do we think that they're going to do? I mean, I've seen stuff as well. I know we think Casey Concepcion at 21, but I've also seen they might go edge and take like TJ Parker from Clemson. Which, do you do that? Because TJ Watt is 32.
Yeah, but it's just, we know Casey Concepcion's not going to be there at their next pick at 53 in the second round. So your pickings there would be like Zachariah Branch, or who would another slot be? Because they need a slot. They don't need just a wide receiver.
Antonio Williams.
They need somebody to help out with Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf. So I got it in paper. I got it on Steelers getting Casey Concepcion.
I love it. I think that's just what they'll do at 21. But I mean, a day 2 target for them if they don't go wide receiver would be, in my opinion, Antonio Williams out of Clemson. He's 5'11". He's a very, very shifty, fluid route mover, 5 to 15 yards. He reminds me a lot of another crazy Clemson slot receiver that came out in Hunter Renfrow. I think that would be a good player comp for him. And so, I mean, that would be a target for them to do, but I think we just are all ready for them to stop the theatrics here and just let us, the addicts of draft night, get rolling here. Who is that they got up here hugging and joining? Is that Lynn Swan?
I didn't see Lynn Swan is there and Hines Ward.
Hines Ward.
I didn't see who the other guy was in the cowboy hat. My bad. But
getting the draft sweats, guys. The draft's about to start,
Yeah. I just want to get on to 2. We know it's Fernando. I hope they better not take all 8. Hey, Big Ben. They better not take 8 minutes for it. We know. What if they stick with Kirk Cousins? Oh, Terry Bradshaw. What if they stick with Kirk Cousins? They throw us a curveball and they go and pick Arvell Reese.
No, that would be hilarious if they were like, "Hey, this is who we're taking. We're not taking the quarterback that we've already said that we were taking." But I mean, I do think that the Raiders are honestly finally in a position, Liam, to have a good rebound to their rebuild, because they've been in a constant motion of rebuilding. They've never gotten the head coach and the quarterback lined up, and now they have the final perfect opportunity to do exactly that with Fernando Mendoza.
Oh, Clint Kubiak? Geez, what he's going to do with Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty is going to be absolutely disgusting next year. They're not going to be all the way there yet. Give them some time. But, yeah, their rebound, this is definitely the best rebound we've seen for the Raiders in a long, long time. So just give them a second. Give them a few. They'll build. And so, but I find it interesting that 3 years ago, Kirk Cousins, after having like an MVP season, tears his Achilles, gets banished to Atlanta. They sign him for like a $200 million guaranteed contract. Was it $200 million? And then 8 days later, they, without telling him before he signed, they selected Michael Penix Jr. Fast forward to this year, they sign Kirk Cousins when they're going to draft probably a rookie quarterback, and that's just interesting to me about Kirk Cousins agreeing to that, knowing that he's probably going to be that voice for Fernando Mendoza
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
locker room. So,
looking at the chat here, it looks like somebody just asked, "Do you think Kirk starts Week 1?" And I think that there's a good opportunity that Kirk Cousins might start the entire way until about Week 11, Week 12, because I think that's the entire Raiders' plan is they want to win 5 to 7 games, play meaningful football, right, and actually have a chance to put their team, their young team, in a situation to where they're playing real football. And then you bring in Mendoza back when it's meaningless football. He's had the chance to sit, he's had the chance to operate under center and learn the NFL offense. That way he's playing in a confident team style situation where he can maybe end the season on a high note and win 1 or 2 games. That's, to me, is what I think the plan is with bringing in Kirk Cousins like that.
there's 6 minutes till they have to pick. I hope they don't use up that whole time, but let's just start talking about Fernando Mendoza and singing his praises because he deserves it. What I find interesting is that Fernando isn't the quarterback we've seen being drafted first overall or just the first quarterback taken off the board as of late because it's been Caleb Williams. We've seen who else has been up there. I mean, Jane Daniels was up there. Um, but those usual Cam Ward last year, those usual first quarterbacks taken, they're taken there because of their playmaking ability, because their ceiling is super high. Fernando, I don't think is up there with those other guys.
No, I wouldn't say
But
so.
I don't mean that as a diss. You go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, he comes out as the 12th ranked player in the WarRoom player grade model for us, and what puts him so high is the things that's everything that's off the film. It's the intangibles. He is the highest intangible grade at a 9.3, and it's because of the human being he is. It's because of the brain box he has. It's because of the leadership that he's shown.
He's a nerd.
He's a nerd, but more importantly, Indiana before this Signetti run was historically the worst football program in college football historically. And yes, they built the foundation before he got there, but with Mendoza coming in and actually bringing a national championship to the Indiana Hoosiers, I think shows you everything that you want to know is about if he can handle the pressure of being the savior for a franchise. And I think he's entering a situation where he's not going to have that pressure with Kirk Cousins, the ultimate professional, being there, knowing going into it that he's not going to be the franchise quarterback. He is there to start and mentor the kid. And I think it's just the perfect situation that the Raiders couldn't be more excited about. And I think they're finally going to have the chance to have the first franchise quarterback since Derek Carr left and retired.
For sure. I mean, he's 6'5", 225, all right? So he's a giant. He could be playing basketball. Um, a lot of people, he's not, when you watch him on Saturday, when you're watching him last year, you're probably thinking that he's not very mobile. I think he's a lot more athletic than he looks. I mean, let's just look at that last play, not the last play, but the main play in the championship game when it was a quarterback draw on fourth down in the fourth quarter, only up 3. That was insane right there. That was the hero ball I think that will always come out of Fernando Mendoza. And so they're picking him number 1 overall, but just because he's smart, he can process the game. I think he'll learn a lot. But then I think a lot of people diss him because he's not like that playmaker that we see often. But the thing is that look at Sam Darnold and what he did when he had a good team around him. You know, he doesn't do. Is he the fastest? Can he throw it the furthest? Is he the quickest? No, he doesn't have really any of the top intangibles, Mason. But he was just a guy that can do the consistent and do it well, and then just try not to turn the ball over. And he did that in the playoffs. He answered all the questions. So there's that play right there going on. So if you're watching the draft along with us, you'll see that play that we're talking about. But
well, they didn't take the full 8 minutes. We can see the pick is in.
Thank goodness.
Actually, thank God for all of us that are going to be watching this with work tomorrow, that we're going to be watching all 4 hours of this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so it would be a major surprise if Mendoza is not picked here, but yeah, you don't have to be great. I see a lot of Kirk Cousins in him. I see a lot of, I would say, even Justin Herbert in him when he first started. Mendoza could be a totally different guy in 5 years, totally different. They got to invest in him Tom Brady's in the building. They got Clint Kubiak, very friendly quarterback coach. He's going to drop great schemes for him. So, um, yeah, I wish that trade went in with Max Crosby so that they could have more options with such a young team. But yeah, the Raiders have had a fantastic offseason so far. They're not there yet. The AFC West is still tough. The AFC is still tough, but they got a good foundation.
And more importantly, as well, too, right? Something that we didn't mention that they actually brought in Jalen Naylor in free agency on a pretty nice contract. So I mean, they've got the pieces there between Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer, and Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. I mean, they have it there. But I think we got Goodell coming up to the podium here, so let's listen in to who we think it's going to be. I'm pretty sure we all know. Oh, you gotta love the booze here, right?
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft,
There it
the
is.
Las Vegas Raiders select
Congrats.
Fernando
Have fun.
Mendoza,
He has a great story.
Indiana.
Great kid. Started out in started playing football for the University of Cal, right? Wasn't very pretty there.
Yeah, the Rose Bowl from Caleb Williams last year was between or no, it was the Rose Bowl I think that Oregon made when Bo Nix was the quarterback. It's between Bo Nix and Fernando Mendoza, I believe. Cal and in Oregon, and nobody really watched or paid attention or cared. And sure enough, no. I'm sorry. It was when Cam Ward was at Washington State against Cal. That's what it was. It was a bowl game. So two future number one overall pick quarterbacks were playing each other when Mendoza was at Cal and Cam Ward was at Washington State. Crazy, the butterfly effect there.
Yeah, and that Cal was not pretty when he was there. I mean, I think last year, or it was 2 years ago at Cal, he had something. I want to say, I'm not kidding. I think it was 40 sacks that he took. Wow, they have a big crowd in Las Vegas watching. That's great. Now they can all go home because they don't have another pick today. But yeah, it's just great to see the success, especially with Indiana. Um, Love to see it. They're gonna do a lot of stuff here. We can move on though because the Jets should be on the clock.
Yeah,
Um,
now the draft actually starts. It's the New York Jets, and what are they going to do? Is it going to be David Bailey or Arvell Reese? I mean, that's truthfully that is the only decision to make here for them. I don't see receiver here at 3. I don't see them doing a curveball with
no.
Sonny Styles after signing Demario Davis. I think Caleb Downs would be worthy of it, but they don't really need a safety. It's David Bailey or Arvell Reese, and I'm sticking to my guns and how we have him ranked. It's gonna be Arvell Reese.
You know what's a bummer about this though? I've said this a little bit. They're gonna mess him up. They're
Yeah,
gonna be
they probably will.
Aaron Glenn is gonna mess up Arvell Reese. They're gonna try getting cute with him. They're gonna try getting fancy with him. They're gonna try. Oh, he's an off-ball linebacker like Micah Parsons. He can do both. Look at this, and they're just gonna mess him up. They're gonna stretch him too thin. I'm really bummed about this. I mean, I'm talking really far in advance, and they could do something else. But see, that's just what I'm thinking about when I see them pick Arvell Reese. Great talent. They're gonna do something with him, and I'm just not a fan. I'm kind of hating on them, Mason. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Aaron Glenn to me is just he's proven that he is not an NFL level head coach. And do you believe that he's going to be able to develop Arvell Reese to his potential? And so that's where I think all the conversations are going to come in with David Bailey. But David Bailey is a
Look at that.
pure.
They all got three monitors in front of them. They're not even talking to each other. This is a terrible draft room.
Oh,
This is the Jets. If you're
yeah.
watching along,
Is the pick in? We see you up and calling somebody. I don't know. My
they were
bill's.
calling somebody.
Yeah, who do you think
What's
they're
up?
calling? No, you go ahead.
No, I got nothing. It has to be Arvell Reese, and so that means David Bailey's still there. He had 14 and a half sacks. He's a weapon for sure. But for me, let's talk about. Nah, let's not skip to David Bailey. I really think it's Arvell Reese. I'd be surprised if it's David Bailey. They canceled his visit
Yeah, but did they do
this
it as a smoke
last
screen
week.
for nobody to be able to see it? You know. I don't know. I think
Well, nervous right
Arvell.
here. This is
I think Arvell Reese is the way that they're going to build their team to actually be able to hopefully be successful. But we're gonna see here whether or not what the pick's gonna be here. We know the pick's in. We're kind of waiting here for Goodell to come up before we play the audio here to hear the pick, but the pick is in. I do think at 16, when they go defense here, I think 16 is either corner or it'll be an offensive playmaker. I don't see how.
Yeah, I think corner would be great because they didn't have like a single interception last year. That's just awful. Um, I was surprised when I didn't see a lot of people say that they need a corner. Um, I thought they definitely need, and if they get lucky with Mansour Delane dropping, and then the rest of the board drops, Jermod McCoy, they got to have a plan with him. But um, Colton Hood is fine too. That's a little high, but we'll definitely see who all drops down. If they don't pick David Bailey, that changes everybody's board a lot.
Yeah, I do think.
All right, here you go.
Here we go.
Question mark of this draft and the domino effect that will tumble.
You gotta love the booze.
We are about to get it from the commissioner. The Jets' second overall pick of this draft is.
With the second pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select David Bailey.
Really, David Bailey. Damn, I did not see that one coming. I really didn't.
He's a good edge rusher. I'm glad that they're not going to mess up Arvell Reese. This is very exciting. Let's talk about David Bailey in a second. But now the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are probably picking up the phones and going for that 3 spot. Cardinals, take our 12 and 20 because we want Arvell Reese. Or who do you think they would take Arvell Reese?
I think what they're on the phones doing right now is they're trying to trade 12, 20, their third round pick this year, third round next year for 3 and 34. I don't think that they want to end up in this draft without at least 2 top 40 picks is what I think the Cowboys strategy is here. But David Bailey, let's talk about him. 14.5 sacks. He transferred from Stanford. As you can see on the screen, 79 pressures in 2025. He is an elite speed rusher at edge. That is what he does incredibly well. The question is with him, can he actually be powerful in a 3-down edge in the NFL? He's someone to me, though, you can see his role clearly day one, pairing up with Will McDonald on that defense, switching to a 3-4, having them both attack off the edge. I like the fit. I'm happier for Arvell Reese because he's not going to get screwed up by Aaron Glenn, and this was the safer pick to make. But, man, the ceiling with Arvell Reese is so much higher than I think with David Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, 14.5 sacks. You can't deny there. And he had 3 sack games against Oregon, Kansas, and Utah. Oh, no. It was just Kansas with 3 sacks. And so the guy's legit. My thing, though, is that to me, he mainly has one move. And it's a good move. It's his spin move coming off the edge. He's super quick and powerful and physical, but that was his main thing. So he's going to need to have some growth for sure. He is a true edge rusher, though, which is nice. The Jets are saying, yep, we're going to they're clapping. The Jets are saying, yeah, we need somebody to just go get the quarterback on 3rd down. David Bailey's going to do that very well. He has a high motor. I'm not going to compare him to anybody, but he just has a high motor. He is super fast. His athletic score is just off the charts. And so,
yeah, I like the pick for the Jets. I think it now lets them at 16 to maybe take more of a swing than we would think. I think they hit a safe double here at 2. But now we got the Cardinals at 3. What do the Arizona Cardinals do? Is it Jeremiah Love or is it Arvell Reese? Or are the Dallas Cowboys or Chiefs trying to trade up right now? How do you kind of see it playing out if you're the Cardinals GM right now?
This is fun for the Cardinals. Because they have so many options. That's nice to have. They're such a young team. I don't love them picking Jeremiah Love right now because running backs have a short time frame in the NFL. They're rebuilding. By the time they're rebuilt and ready to go for a playoff run and Super Bowl run, where's Jeremiah Love going to be? On a second contract, which is going to be expensive, and they're not going to like that because also he's not going to be producing as much. So I think that where the Cardinals are at right now, they need more picks than they need a star running back player. Francis Maui Noah would be a little high right here, I think. But would you hate that pick if they just went, yeah, we'll take like some would argue the best O-line in the draft.
I just think it would be such
Is
a.
that
I think it would just be such a reach. They wouldn't be getting the value that they need out of having the third pick, you know. And I mean, surely you think you could, whether you take Arvell Reese because of the value, or surely you can convince somebody to trade up for him right now. Because I mean, we're going down to the wire here with their clock. They've got 2 minutes left. You can see them clapping. Did they just make a trade? I mean, we're getting down to the wire here where they're going to have to make the decision. And that's what I think is just really curious with the Cardinals is Francis Mauigoa is not good enough to be third overall. Jeremiah Love is the best player in the class. But is the positional value worth taking at 3? And then you've got the question of
are the
Arvell
Cardinals
Reese.
there?
So, what are the Cardinals going to do? I mean, I think that's honestly and truthfully the question here.
Like Jeremiah Love in his contract, he's not going to be there when they're competitive, right?
I mean,
I don't think he'd be. So that I think he would be, but I don't think he'd be in his prime. So I like Jeremiah Love a lot, and if they pick him here, you got the best player in the draft. Congrats, but I wouldn't understand. Maybe because I'm not inside the building, but watch it be Ty Simpson. But
watch it be Ty Simpson here. That would be crazy.
No. Mason, I would quit this stream right now if it's Ty Simpson.
You know, we might have to log off if that happens.
We could see Arvell Reese here. I wouldn't be too mad about that. Sonny Styles. I mean, they don't really need a linebacker, but you know, that would be fine.
I think they're gonna sit and pick here, and I'm gonna call. I think it's gonna be Jeremiah Love. I don't see how it's not gonna be. To be honest with you, if they're sitting and picking at 3, if it's not, I mean.
I know that James Conner, he had that injury. He's older. He had that injury. He's probably not going to play again. Probably not going to play for the Cardinals. Valuable minutes. And then they just signed Tyler Algier, though. So if they have a plan, I would like that. If Tyler Algier is going to be the 2-back, Jeremiah Love is going to be the 1-back, and then they can roll with that. And then you got Michael Wilson, Trey McBride. They don't have a quarterback. We'll see if they do pick a quarterback later, but that's not that bad of an offense. Their tight end is the wide receiver 1. All right, that happens in some teams. Michael Wilson at the end of the year, holy cow, he was dominant. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there too. So, you know, their weapons aren't bad. They still got to... Oh, we see the... Is he coming? I think it's coming.
Yeah, I think Jay Love's up. Or excuse me, Goodell's up. I don't know. I'm sticking with my prediction, to be honest with you.
All right. Not going to be a trade because I don't think they had announced it this late.
No. Let's see what Goodell says here. You got to love the booze.
With the third pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love.
Let's go.
Running back, Notre Dame.
Oh, that's amazing.
Best player in the draft. He is fantastic. I know I was just hating on him. I was hating on just the situation around this pick, not him. He is fantastic. I've been watching him since last year, since Notre Dame had that run 2 years ago in the college football playoffs. He was leading it. I mean, he was fantastic to watch. He's a playmaker. He can do both. He can run up the middle. He can take it outside, and then he'll catch a screen pass, and then he'll run a wheel route. So, Mason, you tell me a little bit about Jeremiah Love.
Well, I mean, Jeremiah Love is just—he's by far and away the only blue chip player in this class, and he's by far and away the best football player. I mean, he is that good between contact balance, running in zone scheme and gap scheme. He has the elite burst, physical traits, pass pro. He's honestly the best running back prospect since we've seen players like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Saquon Barkley get taken. And in a weaker draft class like this, I think he just stands head and shoulders above. I mean, you're going to hear the platitudes Mel Kiper's probably talking about, like, here's a guy that, you know, is the #1 overall player in the class. And it's for a reason, because he is just that good of a football player. And I like it for what the Cardinals are doing. They didn't like the value they could get, so they said, we're going to take the best player here, and we don't care. And I can appreciate that. You're never going to go wrong drafting good football players. And I think that's what the Cardinals just did here. Which, it's funny, because in my first mock draft I put up back around the Combine, I had him going here at 3. And all of the smoke after the Combine made you think they were going every other route which way. So it's funny, just with as draft discourse goes, what you're hearing in February is more accurate than what's going on a week before the draft. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, last year, 199 carries. He had 1,372 yards, 18 touchdowns. And then on the receiving end, 27 catches, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. So a 1,500-yard season. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, and he runs a 4.3640. He's just an all-around athlete. He does not have the cut speed, the cut burst that Bijan has. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the height as Derrick Henry. He doesn't have the breakaway speed as Jahmyr Gibbs. But he's good at everything around. Oh, look at the Notre Dame fans go crazy.
You gotta love it.
He's just good all around. So, Jeremiah Love it's a good pick. I am super excited to see what they do at pick 20 now, right? No. They have now that this has happened, Mason, we talked about how they have the 34th pick. All right? The Jets are at the 33rd. Are they going to move up with the Seahawks now and have that 32nd pick to pick Ty Simpson?
I think that's just the move they're going to go, or they're going to be comfortable just taking Ty Simpson in the second round, because I don't really see a fit anywhere else for Ty Simpson unless the Cardinals trade up back for him. I don't see the Jets doing it at 16 or trading up to take him. I think really the spot for him is going to be Arizona if they decide it. But you got to love it for the fan base for Arizona. They're building with exciting players. And so, I mean, on offense, between Trey McBride, Michael Wilson Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., and now Jeremiah Love, you've got the makings of what could be an exciting young offense. You've just got to figure out the most important position in football, quarterback. But now we sit here with the Titans 4th overall. And
are the Cowboys calling them?
Are the Cowboys calling right now for Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles? Are the Chiefs calling to try to trade up for Ruben Bain? Nope, the pick's in, so they're sticking and picking. Is it the guy that I had all the way back thinking it's going to be Ruben Bain? Do they go get the multiple player in Arvell Reese that could be a chess piece for Robert Saleh? Where do you see them going with the pick?
I feel like I think Arvell Reese right here, right? I mean, Robert Saleh with Arvell Reese, why wouldn't that be a dream come true? Just a freak athlete with a great defensive-minded head coach. That coaching staff in Tennessee is absolutely insane right now. So I would really like to see Arvell Reese go there. He's just, like we said, he's a freak athlete. That's what everybody can only describe him as. He can do both. I would like for them to just decide edge or off-ball linebacker and then just stick him there and just be happy with it, because he'll produce. He's gonna produce.
What I
so
wouldn't
I'm
do
super
is take a wide receiver here. If we see Cardinal Tate off the board here, I mean, that'll just be holy reach.
terrible pick.
A terrible pick. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, where can they go wrong? I would say wide receiver. Although some people want that right here, not worth it. They can pick up a guy in the second round and be fine. So, O-line, I would hate it if it's Francis Maui-Noah too. I think Arvell Reese or
Sonny
Styles.
Let's see it. Goodell's coming up.
With the 4th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Carnell Tate.
You're joking.
I think I'm a little ahead of you.
You're joking. You're joking. Dude.
I hate this.
I hate
This
it.
is awful.
That is a terrible pick. That is an awful, awful pick. What a reach. My 13th
I'm
ranked,
shocked.
number 2 ranked receiver at 4. Oh, that is not a good pick at all, dude.
I don't know what to say.
It's terrible. That's what it is it's a terrible, terrible pick. I'm honestly a little starstruck because, I mean, for y'all that don't know why we're a little lower on Cardinal Tate, is Cardinal Tate was only a wide receiver too in the NFL or in college football. He played next to Jeremiah Love, who's the number one wideout. So any
Jeremiah
film,
Smith.
Jeremiah Smith, thank you. Any film that you watched on him was him as a number two wideout. Now you're going to go put him with Tennessee to be the number one receiving threat. It's not going to work. Jordan Tyson, far and away, is a way better receiving prospect. If they were going to go wide receiver, take Jordan Tyson. Cardinal Tate is an absolute reach.
I don't know what they see in him to be like, yeah, we're gonna pick you above Arvell Reese. Because I mean, I would have rather on the defensive end just have a guy that I know can get the job done. I mean, great for Cardinal Tate. I mean, I'm trying to get over this, but like to sing his praises, I mean, he's 6'3", 195. Let me get this out of there. He runs a 4.5. So I mean, it's not blazing fast. We'll go with the stats, all right? I'll say his stats, and you tell me. This is the 4th overall pick, the number one wide receiver in this draft. 51 receptions, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Is that impressive?
It's kind of, it doesn't scream top 5 pick. You know what this reminds me of, guys? This reminds me of when they took Corey Davis 5th overall a couple years ago when the Titans did that. That's what this reminds me of. Hey, we'll go get a guy that'll give me 800 receiving yards a year, and that's what Cardinal Tate will do.
He's now in the same room as Wan'Dale Robinson, who is he's more of a slot receiver. But then like they drafted Alik Ayomanor, who was their leading receiver last year, and he fits the role of Cardinal Tate. I would have rather them just gone with a defensive player and pick like Omar Cooper Jr. in the 2nd round. If they could have picked
the chat
Denzel Boston or the Tennessee.
The chat's asking a solid question here with the Giants because the Cowboys, they can make a trade for one of 3 defensive players: Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, or Caleb Downs. But what do you think the Giants do here at 5? Do you think they go Reese? Because I don't think anyone thought Reese was going to be on the board for them at 5. What do you think that they did?
That is surprising. Arvell Reese dropping this far is insane. So this is what we were talking about before. The whole draft is going to be insane after what the Cardinals do. We thought they were going to trade out, but they picked Jeremiah Love, and now Titans go Cardinal Tate, and now the Giants. Arvell Reese is there. You got pick 10. It looks like the Giants are high-fiving. I still think Jordan Tyson would be the one. Oh!
Yep. You see
I just got an update on the ESPN website.
That there was a trade that the Chiefs are now picking at 6. They traded with the Browns. That's what I just saw Adam Schefter tweet out. But what's the compensation?
That is insane. A lot of stuff going on right now. We still got to do the wow. Who are the Giants picking? On the clock, the pick is in. I think the Chiefs moved up after the Cardinal Tate trade. Do they think Giants are going Arvell Reese and then the Chiefs can grab Jordan Tyson?
Maybe so. Or do you think that they did that because they want Ruben Bain? That's because that was my.
They're hopping the Commanders and Saints.
Exactly, because that is what I had always thought that was their target, right? Was that they were going to move up to go try to get one of Bain or Bailey. But is it crazy enough that we didn't value these receivers high enough and they're jumping the Commanders to get Jordan Tyson? Do you think that's what they're doing?
No, I think it. I personally don't think the Chiefs need a wide receiver. I know that's kind of a hot take. A lot of people are against that, but I would see Ruben Bain Jr. being the guy. Or if the Giants go, oh my gosh, if the Giants go Jordan Tyson, do the Chiefs get Arvell Reese? Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So
is this some NFL ploy?
I don't see how the Giants don't take Reese here because, I mean, we thought about Sonny Styles and Reese is a great off-ball linebacker. And you think about the multiple defense that John Harbaugh has always played at both the Ravens now with the Giants. He's just going to be a chess piece they could put in the middle of their defense. I don't see how it's not Arvell Reese here. And so the draft, I think, is already blown up for everybody in the first 5 picks. Did you see any mock draft that had the Browns trading with the Chiefs and Carnell Tate going fourth overall to the Titans? I didn't. I saw it nowhere.
No. I think there were some at the start that had Carnell Tate going to the Titans, but that went very quiet very quickly because, I mean, he was the second option for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He was the second option. Most of his stats come from being the second look because Jeremiah Love was being double coveraged. He was being double teamed with a safety over the top and then a corner underneath. So it was just Carnell Tate one-on-one with, and Ohio State is playing some small conferences. So this guy is a walk-on for some, the University of Akron guarding Carnell Tate. Congratulations. Inflated stats right there. So I just find that absurd. With the Giants here, you go.
I was just say the Giants here, I think that at 10, they can end up with one of Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon or take Francis Maui Noah. And at 5, I think that they were targeting the best defensive player that they could get. And between Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and Arvell Reese, the board couldn't have fallen better for them. And because of that, I think that you just take the best player that's left on my big board with Arvell Reese. I have Arvell Reese ranked as my 5th overall player in the class. Sit and pick him at 5. It's the safest thing that they can do. I don't see how they don't honestly end up with that route.
You think that the Giants pick Arvell Reese here?
I think that's the way it's gonna go. I don't.
So what if at 10 they go Caleb Downs and they're just like, all right, we have our defense. What did you think about that?
I think when they go Arvell,
they get the
Reese
two
at
best
5,
defensive players in the draft, right?
Well, so if Arvell Reese goes off the board here at 5, I think that Caleb Downs is a commander is what will happen. I don't think Caleb Downs will be there at 10. And I think this board is shaping up, in all honesty, for the Cowboys not need to trade up to where they can end up with Mansour Delane at 12, to be honest with you, the way that the board's falling. So this is kind of interesting. I think we got Goodell coming up here for the Giants. So without further ado, let's let the man that's the most hated person in the NFL get up here to start announcing some picks.
With 6 and change left, and the commissioner has the Giants pick with some guests.
In partnership with the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, TAPS, one of the NFL's Salute to Service partners, we are honored to recognize the surviving family of United States Army Major.
Yeah, the trade that the Browns made is they get pick 9, pick 74, and pick 148, and the Chiefs get pick 6. So the Chiefs are on the clock right now, but who did the Giants pick?
They're giving up 3 picks for this one.
Yep.
To go up 3 positions, I feel like they hang on.
Well, they're still talking. It's because it's a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick is what they gave up to move from 9 to 6, and I would do that anytime, to be honest with you. And so let's see what the Giants do here.
With the 5th overall pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select.
All right.
Arvell Reese,
yep.
linebacker.
Hey,
how about it?
That's great. That's a great process for them, to be honest. They sit and they don't get scared right at 5. The player that most people thought was going to go number 2 falls to him at 5. I think he's my 5th ranked overall player, courtesy of the WarRoom player grade. He goes at 5. And it's exactly how you could have wanted it to fall out. I think that puts Kayvon Thibodeau trade watch in motion, though, if I'm being honest.
Oh, for sure. I don't think they'd be able to get like a pick this year, do you think, with Thibodeau? I mean, he's a little bit older. I mean, would they get like a 3rd rounder for Kayvon Thibodeau?
My take with Kayvon Thibodeau is like, well, what if you start getting in the bottom half of the 2nd round and there's been a run on edges and you're looking at like R. Mason Thomas or Kayvon Thibodeau? Are you looking at Derek Moore out of Michigan, or do you trade it for Kayvon Thibodeau? And I think that that's where conversations could come into play. But I'm curious to see how they're going to use him. Are they going to make him a full-time edge? Are they going to let him play off-ball linebacker? Is he going to be more of a hybrid role? It's going to be curious for how they deploy him.
This is, I thought Jordan Tyson was going here. So now, like cornerback, I could see falling back, which is good for the Packers. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Wide receiver Jordan Tyson. If the Giants can leave the draft with Arvell Reese, and if Jordan Tyson, which he won't with the Chiefs, Commanders, Saints, Browns picking before them again, Jordan Tyson getting through there would be insane. But um,
Do
yeah,
you think
that's
that? Do you think the
the Giants.
Chiefs?
We had
Sorry, I was gonna say. Do you think the Chiefs go Delane here at 6? Do you think they made this move to take
no,
Delane?
no. I can't see them taking a cornerback at 6. Mansour Delaney. I mean, that's what they need. Um,
But I mean, like for us on the WarRoom player grade board, for y'all that don't know, that's our kind of scouting model. Delane is our 14th ranked overall player, and I mean, could you really see them giving up that capital to get up to 6? I mean, wouldn't he have been there at
no,
9?
that's why I'm not. That's why I don't think it'd be Mansour Delane. That's a good thought.
Do you think?
What do they need a linebacker?
No, because they've got Leo Chenault still. They've got not
It
Nick
would be
Bolton.
a tackle.
They have.
There's no way it'd be Francis,
Do you think it's not gonna
right?
be? I don't think it's being Monroe.
It's Ruben Bain.
It's got to be Ruben Bain, right? The number 2 overall
It's gotta be.
player in the class. Tell you what, I think it's going to be a defensive player here. I don't. Maybe they're higher on Delane than we are, but whatever the case is, for the selfish Cowboy fan in me, I'm kind of getting a little excited of how the board is falling, because Caleb Downs might make it to us at 12, truthfully, because I think
Caleb Downs or Mansour Delane for sure.
because
Now,
I think the Commanders, if Sonny Styles is there, that's who they're going to take at 7. I think that's Dan Quinn's guy, to be honest with you.
yeah, the Saints. I thought Carnell Tate would be a better fit with New Orleans.
I agree.
Jordan Tyson would be crazy there.
I would
Um,
love it, personally.
And then the Browns, a lot of people have them going tackle or wide receiver. So then it's like, yeah, if the Giants go Caleb Downs or a lineman, the Dolphins are going lineman or wide receiver. So then the Cowboys, yeah, they would, if you rule it out mathematically, the Cowboys would have a chance at Downs or Delane, whoever doesn't get drafted by 10.
I'm curious when the offensive line run is going to start, to be honest with you, because once I think it starts,
There's going to be a
like
run for sure.
Yeah, so we can see the comp. It's a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick to move up 3 spots, which I think that is a really good process by the Chiefs and by the Browns. The Browns are able to pick up an extra day 2 pick in this draft class when they've got holes all over the roster. And I think the Browns make that move because they're going to do what I think is stupid and take Caden Proctor. But I'm curious to see
That'd be hilarious.
who the Chiefs go with here. If we got some live viewers here watching, y'all typing in who you think it's going to be. I don't see how it's not Ruben Bain. If it ends up being, if they traded all of that to get Delane, that is kind of wild, to be honest.
That would be absurd. I think like Ruben Bain here would be okay. Or Caleb Downs would be kind of insane, but I could see it.
I don't see it with Downs, but we got Goodell coming up here. Let's see who they traded that capital up to get.
6th overall pick. Top 5 is already in the book.
Oh!
I think you're a little
Did you
ahead
get
of
it
me.
yet?
I think you're a little ahead of me.
Oh, man, I gotta pause it, don't I, and give it a second.
2026 NFL Draft. The Kansas City Chiefs select Mansour Delane.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. We're all
good.
wrong here tonight. We're just so wrong.
With Trent McDuffie.
He's good though.
He is good.
I mean, we'll go straight into it. The Chiefs traded away a cornerback and a safety this offseason to the Rams, both to the Rams, which is insane. So they definitely need a cornerback. Mason, I remember when we were talking like a week or two ago, you weren't super high on Mansour Delane. I was.
Well,
The guy is it. He is so.
No,
Did I throw you under the bus?
Yeah, no. Keep going. You tell us why.
Mansour Delane is athletic. He is one of my favorite guys in the draft. I wish I would have talked about that earlier. I had him going pretty high because I think he's worth it. He's a fantastic athlete. He can play man so well. He's going to fit the Chiefs system very well. He's got the cornerback one mentality that you want out of a cornerback. He thinks he's the very best. So I'm a huge fan of him. People will talk about if Jeremiah McCoy didn't hurt himself, he'd be going here. But Mansour Delane is that guy. He's gonna get in the position. We talked about how his arm length for a cornerback is a little small, but he doesn't need it if he's already knowing where the ball is going and he's there. He's quick enough to get there. He's intelligent. He can read the offense right away. So he's so smooth. They have it on the screen. He's just such a smooth cornerback, and he's physical. He's a do-it-all. So this right here, the Chiefs needed a guy in the secondary, and they got what I think is the best cornerback. I don't know about secondary, but the best cornerback for sure.
I'm just going to take the opposite pick. He's my 14th ranked player, and Ruben Bain, the second best player in this class, at a position in need, was on the board, and you don't take him. I'm not going to be able to get behind it because I think the depth in this class is at the cornerback position. And sitting at pick 29, I think the gap between Chris Johnson, Brandon Cisse, D'Angelo Pons, and Avion Terrell and Colton Hood is not as big to Mansour Delane. And having to trade up that capital to go get him, I just can't fall in love with it. But
this is what I was just about to talk about. Do they not think he was going to be there at 9? I mean, it was the Browns who didn't need a cornerback. The Commanders weren't going to pick a cornerback, and the Saints weren't going to pick a cornerback. Why did they do that?
I really don't get it. But, I mean, stranger things have happened, and Mansour Delane is now with the Chiefs. And to the Chiefs' credit, they've developed corners at a very high level. Think Trent McDuffie. Think L'Jarius Sneed. They know how to evaluate corners, and Mansour Delane's going to come in to a barren secondary and be a day one starter for them. And so what I hope that they do at 29 now, selfishly, is that they go take one of the offensive tackles like Blake Miller, Max Iaconacre, one of the 9 offensive linemen that I think are going to go in the first round. But, I mean, gotta love it for Mansour Delane. He was a major draft riser this offseason during the draft cycle because he went into the number 1 corner role for LSU, and with all of the madness that was going on with Brian Kelly, Mansour Delane was the ultimate professional. He's not a head case at corner, and you kind of like it for the pick. But now we've got the Commanders. The pick is in at the 7th pick, and I don't see how it isn't Sonny Styles. I think that's Dan Quinn's guy. I'm going to hate it as a Cowboys fan, but it's got to be Sonny Styles, right? Or do you think that it might be...
So Ruben Bain is going to keep on dropping.
Let him fall
But
to 12.
I do think it's Sonny Styles here too, because you would love that, wouldn't you? But like Bobby Wagner is a little older, so yeah, you got to replace the linebacker spot. It was really weak last season, so Sonny Styles right here would be the pick for me.
Well, and I think there's
Here.
been a lot of smoke of it. Could also be Caleb Downs, maybe, right? That would be his floor. But off-ball linebacker, I think, is a way that Dan Quinn would want to build his defense. The wild card pick here would be if Jordan Tyson goes. But let's see. The pick's about to get announced here. Who do you think? Who?
We got 8 people in the chat right now. Let's go. 9 likes. Thank you.
We appreciate the likes. That's amazing, guys. We appreciate all the support, too, for you guys. The only reason that we have an audience to want to live stream like this is because of all the support that you've shown us along the way, so we appreciate it.
Talking about the Walter Payton Award.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner is a usual Walter Payton recipient, so...
Well, and imagine Sonny Styles going there for Bobby Wagner to mentor him like that with that defense. Like, I'm gonna hate it as a Cowboys fan having to see that guy 2 times a year. I'm gonna hate it.
To make their community and the league a better place. You want to go for it, or you want me?
Let's go, Goodell.
Let's go.
NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles.
We got one right! Woo!
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you're 3. Are you 4 for 7 right now?
Live.
I mean,
maybe.
Fernando that's just I don't know. It doesn't matter. Hey, Sonny Styles though. Mason, you talk about him. You were on him early.
Sonny Styles to me was just a back in January when I started all this. Normally, going forward on the channel, we're going to do summer scouting. We're going to be a year ahead of this. But when I really sunk my teeth into this and I saw the Cowboys were picking at 12, I thought there was no way this guy was going to be here at 12 when he was going to be in mock, because he's every bit of 6'4", 250 pounds. He's a converted safety to linebacker because of how athletic he is. But more importantly, he's not scared to actually stick his head and go hit somebody. That is what he can do. He has a nose for the football. He played in an NFL-style defense underneath Matt Patricia. And to me, Sonny Styles is somebody that day one as a rookie you're going to put in the middle of your defense, and he's going to make the entire unit better. What a pick for the Commanders, especially when they need difference makers. What a pick.
Yeah, he's a converted safety to linebacker. So in that zone defense that you have to know how to play as a linebacker, he's just known it for probably a majority of his life being a safety. So that's fantastic right there. Linebackers aren't what they used to be. You got to be able to play a coverage on a tight end and or just zone over the middle, and so he's got it. And then if you want to talk about pinning the ears back and just going for it, stop the run, he's got that too. The Commanders picked up a fantastic linebacker right here. He's just so smart. Let's go over the demographics. He's 6'4", 235, runs a 4.46 40. He has a 9.99 relative athletic score, which is insane. That does not get handed out often.
No.
2025, he had 46 solo tackles, 36 assists, 6.5 tackles for a loss. He had 1 sack, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble. He just does everything. He does a little bit of everything. So yeah, the Commanders got a part of their defense fulfilled at a high level for the next 7 years. Would you say he's going to earn a second contract with the Commanders? He has to. So that is fulfilled right there. I mean, Bobby Wagner's been there for a little bit as a veteran, and so he's going to move on, though. He's going to retire, and so Sonny Styles is in fantastic hands there. Dan Quinn's got his guy, like you said. This is a great pick. Do you have anything else before we start talking about the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, the last thing I was going to say is Sonny Styles is our third-ranked player. You get him at 7. That's an A-plus draft grade from me. 89.4 player grade. There's not enough that we can say about how good of a football player this guy is, and he's absolutely worth as an off-ball linebacker, a top 10 pick. But now we got the New Orleans Saints at 8, and I think this decision is going to come between 2 players, Ruben Bain and Jordan Tyson. Where do you see them going?
Personally, I'm not an NFL scout, so I guess my take isn't that much, but I don't think Jordan Tyson would be a good fit there.
Okay.
With Chris Olave and then Juwan Johnson. He's just not the body type he's a good wide receiver, so if they need it, I mean, sure, but I think that their defense would need more help here than it would be a wide receiver. So I would have to go Ruben Bain here. They don't really need a lineman. Jeremiah Love is taking. They have Travis Achan, which I guess is pronounced, but
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Ruben Bain here.
I'm gonna go for me because I think they got to answer the Tyler Shuck question. It's what I've said the entire offseason. I thought Jordan Tyson would be off the board by now, and I thought it would be Cornell Tate. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'm screaming at Mickey Loomis, go get me a number 1 wide receiver in Jordan Tyson. That's what I would do.
No matter what.
Call me Kevin Costner on NFL Draft Day, because Jordan Tyson, I think, to me, he's my 6th ranked overall player. You can get him at 8. You can plug him into that offense. Yes, they're a little bit of a similar wide receiver, right? Because Jordan Tyson is not quite an X receiver where you just go put him on the outside and have him run hitches and curls. He's a dynamic threat like Chris Olave. He's more of a true Z receiver. But I think Kellen Moore is creative enough as an OC to add him into Juwan Johnson, like you said, Travis Etienne, Tyler Shuck, Carr, and then Chris Olave. Because they need a wide receiver. That's what they truthfully and badly need. And I think Jordan Tyson is just that good. But the flip side of it, to your credit, Ruben Bain is our 2nd-ranked player, and he is falling right now, which I think is, we're all going to look back and can't believe he fell this far. I hope he keeps falling to 12. That is what I'm kind of now, praying
His
for.
value just keeps getting higher and higher now.
Because I think now every team that's on the clock, they're going to be like, well, do we take this guy who's clearly far and away probably the best football player in the class outside of Jeremiah Love? But the Saints on the clock, I think that's what the decision comes down to. And if I'm Mickey Loomis, if I'm Kellen Moore in that draft room, how they're thinking, I think Jordan Tyson is the pick. But y'all drop your comments for our live viewers that are watching us. I mean, we're going through the top 10 right now, and I don't think the top 10 has fallen in any way that we thought it was going to. Because, I mean, kind of looking at it right now, Arvell Reese to the Giants at 5. The Chiefs trading up for Mansour Delane, not an edge. David Bailey going 2 over Arvell Reese. Carnell Tate at 4. I think the draft's already had some wild swings. We're only 7 picks into it, and it's honestly kind of surprising how it's all started to shake out.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants, they have to know now that if the Saints don't pick him, the Browns, I feel like the Browns would then, and then they'd pick a lineman later with the draft capital that they just picked up from the Chiefs. So the Giants, I mean, they got to decide that they're probably, I mean, getting Caleb Downs, I don't think would be terrible. I mean, you get 2 defenders. Maybe you wish they could have done a defense and an offense with the 5 and the 10, but picking 2 defensive needs and getting the best at those positions, I would find that as a win, especially for a guy like Harbaugh taking over. Their offense, people were saying they need to add to it. I think Malik Neighbors, Isaiah Likely, Cam Scatteraboo, with their running back room is not bad. And then Jackson Dart. Like, their offense isn't really the problem to me to fix. It would be their defense. So,
well, and I think
pick a lineman too. Pick an offensive lineman. If Francis Maui-Noah is there at 10, I don't think that's terrible either. But I don't think they shouldn't be focusing on a wide receiver right here.
Let's see what it comes down to. To be honest, I think it's like you said. The conversation is it Tyson or is it Bain? You're going Bain. I'm going Tyson. Let's see how it shakes out. Because I think Goodell's coming up to make the pick, but wherever they go, we know Browns are going offensive line at 9. We know that for sure, and we could talk about that when.
I don't like Tyson because he just plays so similar to Chris Olave, but you say that Kellen Moore can figure that out. I guess having 2 great problems is probably like a good thing, right? Having two of the same great things is probably okay, right? But I think right here, I think it'd be Ruben Bain. He fell to an 8, so.
Well, for y'all that are watching live with us, let's see what Goodell announces here. They're showing Saints fandom right now, Who Dat Nation, and let's see if they're going to get the exciting playmaker or the franchise edge rusher. I think that's the question, but which way are they going to go?
With the 8th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson.
All right.
Wide receiver, Arizona
2 wideouts off the board in the top 10, Liam. How are we feeling about that?
How do I feel about it? I expected it, but I didn't expect it in this order. That's for sure. Especially Cardinal Tate to the Titans.
No, I did not expect it. I honestly expected Tate to go 8 to the Saints. So, I mean, we got it out of order here.
But hey, let's talk about Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite guys. He is phenomenal. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Let's look at his stats. 61 receptions, 711 yards, 8 touchdowns against Texas Tech. He had 10 catches for 105 yards and a tutty. Against TCU, he had 8 receptions, 126 yards, and 2 tutties. He can put up the stats. He's fantastic. He has great separation. He's my wide receiver 1 in the draft. I think only time will tell for us to see that, yeah, this is a dude right here, Jordan Tyson. Mason, just one more second. I want to talk about his injuries before you take it over. People wrote him off because he's injury prone. When he was in Colorado, he had a torn ACL, PCL, MCL. It was like a slant route where the safety, Brian, branched him in the knee. And how many other guys would not get injured from that? And then he had like a broken collarbone, which that happens. It's a bone you can get over. And then he had a hamstring problem, which, like we said in this before the draft, he wanted to play. It's the people told him you can't. So he's not injury prone, and he's just fantastic on every aspect of it as a wide receiver. The Saints definitely got a steal right here.
Well, I think Jordan Tyson is clearly the number one wide receiver in the class. He's our sixth ranked player. You get him at 8. The value checks out there, and there's not enough platitudes that we can say about him. He's clearly and truthfully the person that projects with the highest ceiling in the wide receiver class because he has a full 3-level route tree. He has playmaking ability after the catch, contested catch rate, great human being. The only question was his injuries, and you can never play the game of football scared, and you can never draft scared. And you've got to bet on the upside. And I think that the Saints are making a bet here, and I like it for what they're trying to do, which is bring winning, exciting football back to New Orleans. And with Jordan Tyson being there in tow, you're going to have probably answering the question of a franchise quarterback with Tyler Shuck. So I'm excited about it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think this tells us a lot about the Saints is that they think that they have a chance now. They're not going with an interior defensive line. They're not going with offensive line. They're not building for the future. They're getting another weapon for Shuck to go across from Olave. Johnson last year was one of the surprise tight ends. They in free agency they got Travis Etienne. Their offense is now loaded. They're saying, yeah, we believe in Tyler Shuck. They picked pretty well last year on the line with Kelvin Banks Jr. He turned out to be above average, and so they can go defense the rest of the draft, and I'd be okay with that. They needed the edge. They might need a linebacker. Nose tackle would be fine. Cameron Jordan, right? I think he's leaving on his way out. So, this is very exciting for a New Orleans Saints fan right now. This is a great offseason.
Well, it's a great offseason. Kellen Moore, young offensive coordinator, head coach with Tyler Shuck, now an exciting offense. And now all eyes turn to the Browns at 9, and I think the Giants after them. And I'm going to say this is where the offensive line run kind of starts, between the Browns, Giants, and Dolphins. But how does it play out here? Which offensive lineman do they go with here? I would be scared right now as a Cleveland fan if Caden Proctor ends up being the pick. It looks like the pick is in for the Browns. If I'm here, I take Monroe Freeling, my number 1 tackle, 8th overall, the best left tackle. I could see Spencer Fano here as being a right tackle. I don't think Maui Noah is in the question here because Maui Noah, what you would draft to be a guard, and he's like Titus Howard, who they already traded for. So to me, the decision is between 3 tackles: Caden Proctor, Monroe Freeling, or Spencer Fano. And if I'm the GM, I take Monroe Freeling. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want it to be Caden Proctor.
Mason, only the Cleveland Browns would mess this pick up. I'm excited to see. If they mess up, I'm going to just start laughing right away. But yeah, a lineman right here is fine. I think they would go with Francis.
You think they're going to go Maui Noah here? And I could see that absolutely being the case. I do think that offensive line is the need for them here. And Goodell's coming up here. Let's just hope for Browns fans it's not Caden Proctor.
Here's the Browns' first selection of 2.
With the 9th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Spencer Fano.
Awesome.
Huh.
Nope, I love it.
Did not have him being the first lineman off the board, but
I didn't think it was going to be either, but he might be the best athlete at the position with the most amount of starting experience on tape. Because, I mean, he was the Outland Award Trophy winner for a reason. For you guys that don't know, that means the best tackle in college. He's coming from Utah with Kyle Whittingham being the coach that developed and recruited him. Kyle Whittingham has sent 25 NFL offensive linemen in his career. And what you can see with him is that his step replaced and his kick steps might not be technically sound how you want it, but his recovery speed and how athletic he is with his anchor to handle power at his size and frame is elite. No one's better at it. A lot of people made stuff about arm length, but I think what we can all see here is who gives a rat's butt about arm length. It's not important. What is important is Spencer Fano is an incredible athlete at the position. He's going to be able to start anywhere on your offensive line for the next decade, and I love the pick for the Browns because they didn't draft Caden Proctor.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, Spencer Fano, he's 6'6", 308. He ran a 4.940, sub 5, which is insane. The pick is already coming in from the Giants. They knew who they wanted. So let me just finish up right here. 9.79 RAS score, relative athletic score. That's the highest out of all linemen. He can play left tackle, right tackle, center. I think at the combine, he said he would do anything to play. So that's fantastic for them.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like Goodell's rushing up, and I think it's like we talked about. I think the lineman is going to be the theme here, and I think it's either Maui Noah or Vivek Ione. I'm going to go Maui Noah because I think he has a higher ceiling.
2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Francis Maui Noah.
Hell yeah.
Tackle.
I love that pick for the Giants, man. Francis Maui Noah, you're not going to have to watch Daniel Falalole start on an NFL offensive line. He's going to be a mauler day one on your offensive line. He's our 11th ranked player. You get him at 10, but to play guard, I would say that he's a top 10 player worthy of a top 10 pick. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. He has a 7.6 film grade from us. He is a incredible human being, good football player, mauler in the run game.
Whoa.
I think he fits the scheme that works for the Giants. What just
Mason,
came
check your
in?
phone.
I think
Cowboys trade up a spot.
I think Caleb Downs just might be a Dallas Cowboy.
Do you like that or hate that?
Oh, it's getting me excited, to be honest with you. As the Cowboys fan in me, we need a safety, but we got to give the Giants their moment here, and Francis Maui Noah their moment here. They go and make. So, I mean, really, this is what they did: is they traded Dexter Lawrence for Francis Maui Noah. Ultimately, with what they've now got on offense, that tells you they're going to be able to run the dang football. Jackson Dart's going to be protected, and I love the process for the Giants.
Yeah, you get Arvil Reese, a fantastic linebacker, edge, whatever you want to call it. We already talked about that. And then you get a one of the best tackles in the draft. Just a huge guy up there to help out. He's 6'6", 335. Didn't run a 40. He didn't get enough stats to do a relative athletic score, but he's just a big dude. He's gonna, in the run offense, he's gonna help out Cam, and then as a right tackle, Jackson Dart doesn't really have to worry too much about that. So Francis Maui Noe, yeah, we knew he was gonna be one of the top linemen off the board. We got a run at lineman right here. Cowboys aren't going to pick a lineman, but we'll probably see the Dolphins. But yeah, I don't have much to say. I mean, he's young. He's only 20 years old. So he'll be playing for the Giants for a long, long time. He's just a great athletic dude. The Giants now have their 2 top 10 picks, Mason. What did you make of it?
Well, it's like we were saying with them, and I mean, I don't want to say too much without really getting into it, but I just think that it's a good process for how they're trying to build their team. Arvell Reese and Francis Maui Noah are 2, I think, home runs of picks for where you pick them and how the process played out. I think that the Giants are going to be able to, in the second, third, middle rounds, take a defensive tackle that they can build their defense around, and I think the Francis Maui Noah pick just shows how they're trying to build their team. And so now we are sitting here with the Cowboys at 11. It looks like, from what I can see on the trade, is that they traded pick 178 and pick 180, I believe, 2 fifth-round picks. And I think they make the trade because Caleb Downs is going to be their guy. We've mocked safety to him. He's going to play nickel for us. He's going to be in a multiple front. You got to think that this is the defensive coordinator coming from the Eagles that deployed Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean in multiple ways. C.J. Gardner-Johnson when he was there as well. And that's who I would take here. What's crazy to me is how far Ruben Bain is falling just because of how good I think Ruben Bain is as a player. But the NFL community seems to be lower on him than we are.
The Cowboys aren't going to pick him here, right? You guys have spent so much on your D-line. I think that would be a little out of question right here.
Well, and he's just not a scheme fit for us. Ruben Bain, what he isn't is a stand-up edge rusher. That's what he's not. But the Cowboys are celebrating, I can tell it. I think they just got the Jim Thorpe Award winner. I think Caleb Downs is a Cowboy, and I'm really excited for the Cowboys fan base because our defense, man, it might actually not suck, which is kind of wild to think about because the projected defense here as well, you've got Donovan Ezraku, Rashawn Gary, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark. You've got now Caleb Downs, Jalen Thompson, Malik Hooker. You've got Siobhan Ravel, Darion Kendrick, and Deron Bland. We also got another corner from the Rams as well. And I mean, this is just a defense now that you think can play NFL level football.
So we think that the Cowboys go Caleb Downs here. You still got pick 20. That's a little early for a linebacker. No, would you be okay with CJ Allen here then?
Nope. You know what linebacker I want them to take?
I know you want the Cincinnati guy, but that seems like that's a little too early.
Yeah, that'd be way too early. I would hate it with CJ Allen because I think he's a 3-4 linebacker. CJ Allen is not somebody that you can put to go play in coverage. And the defense, yes, it's going to be a 3-4 front for the Cowboys. But
Keep talking. I got to go pee real quick during commercial.
You're good. It's going to be multiple guys. It's going to be a multiple front. So CJ Allen will not be the pick for the Cowboys at 20. At 11, it's going to be Caleb Downs. And you've got to love it for the Cowboys. We talked about all offseason they were going to trade 12 and 20 to move up to try and go get Sonny Styles. There's no way Caleb Downs was going to fall. We've talked about Caleb Downs being a generational player, and he falls to the Cowboys at 11. And it's a great process because he's a box safety who you can line up at nickel to cover tight ends to be the center of a defense. And if anybody knows anything about Dallas Cowboys football, watching them play, they had nobody at the second or third level of their defense that could play the run or keep the ceiling of the defense for the passing game. And this is going to be a transcendent player for what they need. And so I'm really excited for the Cowboys. They didn't really give up much. The Dolphins, flip side of that as well, they get to move down one spot and probably be able to take the best offensive lineman or Mekhi Lemon staying above the Rams. And now with the Cowboys' second pick at 20, they don't have to take one there. Linebacker, I think, is what they're targeting, or Keldrick Faulk. And they're in prime position now to be able to trade down. And I don't think C.J. Allen's worth it at 20. I don't think Keldrick Faulk's worth it at 20. What's worth it for the Cowboys is trading down. I think that if they ended up with Jacob Rodriguez, my guy is Jake Galday. I know it would be a reach, but he's my guy. I also think Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas could be a target for him. But, man, the Dallas Cowboys, it's too early to crown them as offseason champs, but coming away with Caleb Downs in this draft is an absolute home run.
Chill out.
It's a home run, Liam. I don't care. I'm excited.
Oh. I mean, you still kind of got that George Pickens trade up there. Would you be okay with trading him? He's going to be expensive next year.
I think that we're just going all in for this year to where we won't probably pay him a long-term contract. We'll probably be okay with getting a compensatory pick, or we'll tag him again and then trade him next year. I do think a trade could happen. I think what's the most likely trade now for the Cowboys is trading down from 20.
All right, Caleb Downs here, right? 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a given, is that it's going to be Caleb Downs. I just went on a 3-minute tirade about it being Caleb Downs. If it's not, I'm going to look real stupid.
With the Dallas Cowboys, first of 2 picks.
Let's see it.
Tonight.
With the 11th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Downs, defensive back, Ohio State.
4th-ranked player at 11. I mean, come on, Jerry Jones. Keep taking your meds and letting Will McClay draft, because I love it.
Let Jerry cook right here. Let's talk about him. He's one of the best players in the draft. He's a safety. He's not an insane, like, out of this world
athlete. No.
Okay, let's talk about him. He's only 6 foot. He's like kind of only 200 pounds. But Mason, he can just do everything. He had 45 solo tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 1 pass defended, which in my notes I wrote, which is a good thing, because nobody's throwing his way. He's a shutdown corner. He can play center field, which is what I think some of the best cornerbacks, safeties in the league can do right now. Xavier McKinney, the Green Bay safety, he can play that center field over the middle. He takes up a huge majority of the field because he's just so quick. Caleb Downs can play every position. Mason, he's now a Dallas Cowboy. You talk about him for a bit. I guess you already kind of did with that 3-minute rant, but now that he's yours.
I went with the 3-minute rant, but I mean, he is the only person outside of Jeremiah Love that I gave a 9 film grade to in this draft process, which means the highest film grade that it's on our scale that we can give. And it's because there's no cleaner college tape at the safety defensive back position than what Caleb Downs has shown in college with Ohio State. He's a Jim Thorpe Award winner for a reason. He's hyped as a generational safety prospect for a reason, and it's because of his instincts playing the game, where he always makes you right on the back end. He's going to be able to play in zone and match shell coverage schemes. He's going to be able to match up in man on these tight ends. He's going to be able to make the run fit correct when it F's up. And I just see him being a player that Christian Parker, the DC for the Cowboys, is going to be able to use in the nickel spot when we're in our base stuff and we got a 3 safety shell, rotating him almost to basically be our Mike linebacker, more or less. And I think if we couldn't get Sonny Styles, this is the player that we had to get, and I'm really excited about it, Liam.
Yeah, this is a huge win for the Cowboys. I mean, are you thankful that the Bengals made that trade with Dexter Lawrence so that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
wouldn't take him, and now you got Caleb Downs. I don't think I thought the Cowboys would be able to get Caleb Downs. He wasn't on my radar. I thought they were going to trade up, or they were just going to have to pick one of the best defensive players available at
Drex
12, which was not going to
Masterfly
be.
is asking you, Mr. Carr, who is your favorite sleeper prospect of the draft?
Oh well, who is my favorite prospect of the draft?
Sleeper
Oh, sleeper.
prospect.
Okay, sleeper prospect. Um, I'll go. I think he's not going to get picked in the first round. He's going to fall really far, but it'd probably be Kenyon Sadiq,
Ooh,
um, tight end out of
sleeper.
Oregon. No, he's not really a sleeper, but I'm just trying to say somebody that he's not going to go in the first round, so he's technically going to fall, but he's just a tight end that he's like a, to put it in terms that most people would know, he's a catching tight end. So Travis Kelce, Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez. People are gonna knock him. He's probably gonna fall because he's not a blocking tight end like a lot of the other guys want. He's a little bit smaller, but he's just so quick. If you put a middle linebacker on him, mismatch. If you put a cornerback on him, well then your defense is gonna be off balance to where he's gonna be able to help out in ways that everybody's gonna like for that coaching staff. So that's probably for sleeper, that was kind of a lame one, I guess. I would have to go with the guy that I've been looking at day one. Cornerback Julian Neal out of Arkansas. He's 6'2", 202. He's one of the taller side. I think he's just a fantastic cornerback. I'm hoping that the Packers can pick him up. He can play great zone, but I hope that answered your question. Thank you.
We appreciate y'all for that's watching. Keep throwing questions and we'll answer them. But the pick is in for the Dolphins. I think offensive line has been what they're going to do. Do they take Caden Proctor here to be a guard? Do they take Monroe Freeling to be a tackle? Do they go Makai Lemon? The pick is in. Let's see what Goodell announces here.
With the 12th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Caden Proctor.
No way! Caden Proctor, are you kidding me?
That is a
That's a reach, is what
that
it is.
is
It's a reach.
terrible.
It's a terrible. I would have gone Makai Lemon here. Caden Proctor, for you guys that don't know, he cannot play tackle. There's no absolute way whatsoever that you're putting him at tackle day one for the Dolphins. But this is what we've talked about with Eric Sullivan being the GM and Jeff Hafley being the head coach. They want to build their team through the trenches. And that's what Caden Proctor is he is a trench football player. You can see it on the live broadcast. They're talking about his anchor and his power. If you put him at guard, he's going to be a mauler. He's physical in the run game. He's got an athletic profile that you can't teach, being 6'6", 360 pounds. He's got incredible strength in the hands. The question is, just like we talked about in the pre-draft show with Nick Saban, can he keep the weight off, and can you coach him to actually be a pass protecting tackle at the next level? Because his bull hop, for you guys that don't know, when power from an edge rusher hits an offensive lineman and they enter their bull hop, it's when you start seeing their feet reset and re-anchor. And Caden Proctor is awful at it. That's why he ends up on his face so much. And that shouldn't happen with somebody that big. Can he be coached and developed enough to get over that? But this fits a position of need for him. I think he's got a really high ceiling. I don't hate it as much as I probably would have, but if they were going to go offensive line here, I would have gone Vivega Ione or Monroe Freeling. But all eyes now are on the Rams at 13, Liam. What do you think they're going to do?
I want to talk about Caden Proctor for a
Keep
second because
talking about
Mason,
Caden
you're the
Proctor.
guy that's been down on him for a while. And then especially with Nick Saban saying that he's just not very disciplined if he's not with the team in the locker room. That just doesn't sound like a 12th overall pick for me. I mean, he's a great size. We were talking about him pre-draft, so if you just stop it in, let's talk about him again. He's 6'7", 366 pounds. His 40 time was 5.2, which for that size is pretty good. His relative athletic score was a 9.48, a 9, so that's fantastic. And we gave him a clear first round grade. But the thing is just that for me, if I was GM, I would not be picking him because of that off the field discipline issues. I mean, that just tells me more. And I'm going to be looking at the Miami Dolphins, seeing how many false starts that they have. Because Caden Proctor definitely isn't going to be the leader with the discipline. He's going to have to get coached pretty well for a 12th overall pick. And then, so that's just what I'm worried about. Yeah, he's got a great size. And so for the Miami Dolphins in this new era, having a 6'7" offensive tackle is fantastic, but I'm just not loving the pick. With the Rams now, Mason, if you don't have anything else about Proctor,
Well,
I had Mekhi Lemon going to the Dolphins, even though you did not like that. The Los Angeles Rams now I think that would be a fantastic pick getting Lemon here if they
so
want to go all in.
Mekhi Lemon has been the player that I've thought about if they go all in. But I'm going back to how I felt about back in January when I sat there and they were at 13 and they had the 2 first-round picks. When is the next time they're going to pick this high again? And when are they going to have the chance to get a quarterback again? And I thought originally it's because when Arch Manning was coming out and the connection there with Les Snead that he'd be the pick. And now I'm here at 13, and is it Ty Simpson? Is this the Ty Simpson watch? Does it start here?
No,
Is that crazy?
no, it cannot be.
Because I did see a report that Ty Simpson's dad asked Les Snead if he should get him out of the draft and that he would be a first-round pick this year, and Les Snead said yes. For all that I don't know, the rumor guy that I follow, his name is JPA Football. He was the one that had that report out, and what the kind of report was that basically his father consulted with GM Les Snead. He got it from Tom Pelissero. Take that stock however you want. I think it would be wild if they went with it here. I think what makes the most sense is between Mekhi Lemon or Monroe Freeling at tackle or Mekhi Lemon at wide receiver. But with the character concerns with Mekhi Lemon, him falling a little bit, and the Rams being here at 13, I don't know what they do here, to be honest with you.
Look, for the wide receiver, wide receiver and cornerbacks. I know I was just talking about discipline, but in the NFL recently, I don't really care if the wide receiver or the cornerback have problems with that. That's just, I feel like, part of the issue. If you have a good team around them, like the Los Angeles Rams do, a good coaching staff, because they already have one wide receiver with some off the field issues. So getting Mekhi Lemon right here, they're going all in. We know that they're trading away the picks. They're getting the defense. They were almost there last year. It was their secondary that was the problem. They already fixed that issue. So why not just go and get another problem for the offense with Matthew Stafford? Imagine having Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Mekhi Lemon. But with how the draft is going, I wouldn't be surprised with the offensive lineman right here. With all that being said.
Yeah, I mean, with all of it being said, I mean, I don't think Omar Cooper Jr. is in the calculus for him here. I don't see that. And I mean, just looking at the big board here, it looks like the pick is in for the Rams. But I mean, just looking at the big board here, what makes the most sense is our 8th overall player Monroe Freeling or Mekhi Lemon, our 18th ranked player. Ty Simpson would be the out of left.
They don't need an edge. No. I don't think.
Ty Simpson would be the out of left field pick that I think we would all go, that's insane. But if Sean McVay chooses to do, it's hard to fault Sean McVay. Is all I'm gonna say. If that's what I could also see Kenyon Sadiq here, your guy as well, because they love their tight ends, right? This could also be a Kenyon Sadiq pick here too, because they run the.
I think their tight end room is pretty full, but I mean, he's a good option. He's just another wide receiver. He's a tight end, but he's not going to be the blocking like I said before. So that would be a great weapon for Sean McVay.
Yeah, I think that the way that they run their offense, that they could get in big personnel, he'd be kind of a big slot for them, and he'd be a dynamic playmaker. But for the draft day slide for Ruben Bain's really blowing my mind, man. I mean, he's clearing away to me the second best player in the class, and we're sitting here at pick 13, and the next closest spot I see for him is honestly the Bucks at 15. I mean, what if he makes it to 16? Reuben Bain does, and that's what the Jets do, and they now have Reuben Bain and David Bailey on defense. That would be crazy.
I mean, if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'd be loving if Reuben Bain falls that way, because in mock drafts it was Keldrick Falk was going to be the guy, the top edge rusher there. So I mean, if I'm the Bucks, I know they need a cornerback too. Colt McCoy would be probably the guy right there, but Reuben Bain, if he falls that far, I'd pick a cornerback. The cornerback market is falling. You can get Brandon Sissy in the second round. So, but with the Rams, pick is in. I don't see Goodell yet. But yeah, Monroe Freeling, their offensive line wasn't an issue. I thought it's because of age, right?
Yeah, well, it's because Rob Havenstein retired, and there's Will McClendon who kind of filled in for it. And it's like, do you think that he's going to hold up and be a good enough tackle for you? Because he's more of a guard. So that's why I could see tackle. Surely it's going to be an offensive playmaker of some sort. I just don't know what direction that Les Snead's thinking about going here. And whatever the pick does end up being, Liam, it's going to have Sean McVay's hands all over it.
Has no pressure to play. Amazing. With the 13th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.
Oh. Oh no.
You're kidding me.
I don't understand it.
I mean, I do. And I'll go ahead and take it away with Ty Simpson, because, I mean, it's what your Packers did when they had Aaron Rodgers coming off an MVP year. They took Jordan Love. They don't really have obvious holes. Anything they would have added with this pick would have been the cherry on top. Instead, go get your quarterback of the future that you can sit, mentor, and develop yourself. He's going to enter into an incredible system underneath Sean McVay, a great environment, learn from the ultimate professional in Matthew Stafford. No pressure for him to start right away. You've still got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Blake Corum, and Kyron Williams. You've got an established offensive line. It makes a lot of sense to me, Liam. You tell me why it doesn't.
I don't like it. I think that they should have gone with somebody that they're Super Bowl. You know, they're fighting for the Super Bowl right now, and they go with a backup for like in 2 years when Matthew Stafford retires. And just to me, he's not really like the quarterback, the next guy up. I do not see it at all. I'm going to go on the, I called J.J. McCarthy being a bust. This guy's going to sit for a year in a Matthew Stafford and a great program. He's just going to be average. He's going to have a good team around him, but he's not going to be the guy. I think this is a wasted pick. They should have gone Monroe Freeling, I think, would have a better benefit to the offense. And then if you want to go defense, I think Reuben Bain Jr. would have been a guy that helped out the defense a little more. When they're on their Super Bowl run next year, this guy's going to do nothing. He's just going to sit there. And don't tell me that this is going to be, you said Jordan Love. I was a little mad. I'm not too mad at you, because that's a genuine good thing to do, is to get the quarterback before you need it so that they can learn. But I just don't understand it with the 13th deciding like, yeah, this is going to be the guy. If Sean McVay loves him, then I am the guy that's wrong. But there's just not a whole lot. This guy has hardly any experience.
Well, the one thing that I'll say, though, is he played in a Sean McVay style system, right? Wide zone system, under center. You've got 1 through 5 level reads. You've got to progress through it. He throws the intermediate crosser better than pretty much anybody. It's why Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup quarterback there. They've kind of liked this style of quarterback when they took a swing on Stetson Bennett late in the rounds, Jimmy Garoppolo being the backup, Matthew Stafford being the MVP of the league. And I see just the vision of how they're trying to build a team. Because I think if you just look at the Rams roster sitting right now after they went and got Trent McDuffie, they truthfully probably have the best roster in football. There's no obvious hole. So why put your future at risk? Sean McVay, I think also the question, there's been a lot of smoke about Sean McVay retiring before he got Matthew Stafford, and now I think what this does is this prolongs his career. He gets to finally get the quarterback that he wants, that he picked, that he gets to mentor and he gets to coach. So I love the vision as long as there is a plan. If it wasn't a plan and this shocked Matthew Stafford and it causes and ruins that relationship, and they try to then trade Matthew Stafford and play him immediately, I immediately don't like it. It is a little bit of a reach being at the 13th pick. I think they probably could have traded down and still got him, but I see the vision for the pick.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I
Dan
do.
Orlovsky is just going crazy right now. So happy that he's right.
He's the
But
madman that was right. We're the ones that were wrong.
and then I guess if Sean McVay is saying, yeah, this is the guy that I want, I guess I'm stupid again. But I want to know what the Rams fans are feeling like right now. You're in the, you were right there last year for the Super Bowl. Past 2 years, you were right there for the Super Bowl, and then you pick a backup quarterback. I know they're screaming right now. No team has ever like that. When the Packers drafted Jordan Love, when we were in Super Bowl talks, a lot of people were mad. So, um, look, this is a bonus pick because this was from the Falcons last year when they traded to get James Pierce Jr. So, um, they're probably saying, look, let's just take a flyer on him. He's not going to be there in the second round when we come around again. So let's just, if they've done the math, they've done the scouting reports on him. Sean McVay loved him. Then I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be too mad about it. I don't understand it.
No,
Ravens are up though. We know where he's going. This would be crazy if they don't pick Vega Ione right here.
I think that's just the cleanest fit and pick for them. The only way I wouldn't see it is with Makai Lemon and Bain still being on the board. But Goodell's up. Let's see what the pick is.
I don't know this is as much for the commission
With
as it
the
is for
14th
Baltimore.
pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select
Besides Fernando Mendoza
guard
and besides Dylan Thieneman going to the Vikings, this has been that pick that everybody's known about.
And it's a home run pick because it's the exact position that they had to answer. Because if anybody watched Ravens games and are Ravens fans watching Daniel Falalele play offensive guard, he should be on a terrorism watch list because that was the absolute problem with their defense. Was the interior part of their offensive line, and with Tyler Linderbaum leaving, they had to solve the interior part of their offensive line. And now in day 2 and day 3, they can address some of their other needs like defensive tackle, getting another playmaker. There's also Jake Slaughter and Connor Liu, good interior centers, but Vega Ione, he has a hilariously fun highlight tape as a guard. They would put him as an off-ball wide tight end. They'd line him out in slot and motion him through. He was honestly a weapon on their offensive line. And to me, he's not a generational guard prospect. The athletic traits aren't going to just be crazy. He's not going to be a Quentin Nelson level day one impact. But what he is going to be is a starting NFL level guard day one. Last year with all the guards that went, he would have been firmly under Tyler Booker for me and Gray Zabel, but he still has, looking at the WarRoom player grade board for us, Vivek Ione is my 17th ranked player. You get him at 14 as a position of need. He has an 8.1 film grade, and that's always what you do when it becomes to you're drafting off of what need that you have, and you look at the positional value and you look at their actual grade. You have about, if it's a 5-point reach or a 5-point value pick, and this is an A+ pick for me, Liam.
Yeah, you know the trenches better than anybody else. Vega's just that guy, 6'4", 328 out of Penn State. They just breed big boys, the linemen. So watch the guard play last year, like you said. Absolutely atrocious from the Ravens. A lot of people don't like picking guards this early, but he's worth it. This is great value. This is what they needed. So this is a home run for the Ravens. They definitely are going to like it a lot.
Yeah, so I mean,
Now, Mason, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
now it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I mean, we've got some really interesting players for them on the board here. Ruben Bain, the number 2 overall player in the class, he's fallen. He's sitting here, fills that position of need at edge. Linebacker, CJ Allen, be incredibly rich here. I think Caden McDonald would be a good pick here because he's my 15th ranked player. They're picking at 15. He'd fill a position of need again, being the successor to Vita Vea and being somebody who could build the strength of that defense around. I think the wild card pick here is if they overcome injury and they go with Jermod McCoy here anyways.
Yeah, I'm between an edge or a cornerback. Is their defense really? Um, Yeah, and I'm between Ruben Bain Jr. here. I think would be an absolute steal. We keep on saying him, and he keeps on falling. This guy was an absolute beast. I mean, who that Miami defense? Come on, let's think about that. All of these guys, looking at their film, Ruben Bain Jr. is and was a beast. I didn't expect him falling this far. We knew that his, it wasn't great looking at his arm length at the combine, but look at the film. Film doesn't lie, Mason. You're a big fan of that saying, and so. Um, I think Ruben Bain Jr. would be a steal here, and then but the cornerback is also a very big issue for the Bucks last year. Um, I I would rather Ruben Bain over Jermod because there's more questions I think revolving around McCoy than there is around Ruben Bain Jr. So I'm gonna go with Ruben Bain Jr.
Yeah, with Ruben Bain Jr. falling to 15, this will be a home run pick for the Buccaneers. So that's the route they go because I think to me he's the second best player. I think he is immediately a guy that'll come in and be a dominant threat off the edge for them that can line in all the ways Todd Bowles wants to do with his blitz packages. The one case I'll make is if they decide to go Kenyon Sadiq here to get a receiving threat for Baker Mayfield but the flip side of that as well, the last time they did that is they went OJ Howard and he ended up being a bust. So I don't know where they'll go here. I think that's the three players that are in conversation here is Kenyon Sadiq, Ruben Bain, and Jermon McCoy. I think we're both in agreement here. If Ruben Bain isn't the pick here, what are we doing?
I like Kane Sadiq too, but K Dalton, he didn't have a great year last year, but he's still, I think, just a great tight end, and he can do both blocking and catching. So I just run it with Kate Otten. I don't think you don't need a wide receiver, even though Mike Evans left. If I see Omar Cooper Jr. here, that'd be the pick where I'd quit the stream right now. Omar Cooper Jr. or Denzel Boston. I think it has to be between Ruben Bain Jr. or Colt McCoy. Who do the Bucks feel comfortable with then? And then that's fine. I don't want to see Keldrick Falk. That was the guy that a lot of mock drafts had. Um, but speaking of mock drafts, I don't think a single mock draft had Ruben Bain Jr. falling this far, Mason. He's
I
definitely the
know.
guy this year that's been the it's not a bust, but just the faller.
The
He's been the
draft
faller
fall.
this year.
But I mean, one like that
Yeah.
happens every year that doesn't make sense. Think a couple years ago when Kyle Hamilton
Yeah.
fell. It made no
Last year was Will
sense.
Johnson. He was there in the green room just waiting, and he was a day two.
It doesn't sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I mean, it's like you're saying, right? It's about wants and needs.
Yeah, how many teams needed an edge rusher really badly? There was a run right there where you could say the Commanders, Saints, and Chiefs needed an edge rusher, but they also had other needs too, and some people fell to them. We got Roger Goodell coming on the stage right now.
Let's see who it is.
Has to be Ruben Bain.
It's got to be. Well, 'cause it reminds me of a guy like James Pierce Jr. last year that fell when he probably shouldn't have.
With the 15th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Ruben Bain Jr.
Okay. Okay.
Home run
Good.
pick. Home run pick. That is
Yeah.
what they should have done. 1,000%. Tampa Bay, you get an A+ grade from me for your draft process for getting this guy.
He's the biggest steal so far, right? I mean, Caleb Downs is a steal. Jordan Tyson, not a lot of people saw him going. Like, I mean, 6 to 8, I think was his range probably. So 8, I mean, that's good steal. But I mean, Ruben Bain, I didn't see leaving the top 10 at all. I mean,
No.
if you have the draft going with us, watching this Ruben Bain tape, he is a wrecking ball. He's a monster. He can edge rush, and then he goes downhill and gets the run. He can do both, which is I think fantastic. So, um, I like this pick regardless of his arm size. There's film of him going up against like, some of the guys that were already drafted. All right, and he was winning, so I don't understand it. He was teammates with Francis Maui Noah, so I would like to see what those conversations were like when they were going against each other in practice. And Francis was picked 10th with the Giants, so he didn't even stop right there. I think he's a little upset probably right now, which I think he's rightfully
Probably
so.
so, but I mean, hey,
Um,
look at it this way: the plus side, he gets to stay in the state of Florida, man. He just gets to go down a little bit from Miami down to Tampa, and I mean, he's going to join defense
up to Tampa.
up to Tampa, excuse me. But he's going to join a defense with Todd Bowles that's going to know how to deploy him. for say what you want about Todd Bowles, what he's incredible at doing is blitzing, is at putting his pass rushers in the most advantageous positions possible. And Ruben Bain's somebody that you can stunt inside of the 3 technique to line him up on a guard. You can put him in a tight 5 or a 6 side, let him rush the tackle, and he's going to be a transcendent force that gets you 40 to 60 pressures. There's not often you're able to get a pass rusher like this with the 15th pick. It reminds me so much of when the Cowboys got Micah Parsons at 12 and he ends up being an all-pro level pass rusher. I think that's the ceiling of potential for Ruben Bain Jr., and it's exactly what the Bucs need coming off of a down year where they've got to go all in for this year. This is a home run level selection for them, and now I think it sets up an interesting back half of the first round because we've got some players falling here that we've got some higher grades on, like Makai Lemon, Monroe Freeling, Kenyon Sadiq, Dylan Theineman. I've got Caden McDonald pretty high. Peter Woods. Like, we're starting to get into the part of the draft where we really don't know how it's going to shake out.
Yeah, Ruben Bain going this far and Ty Simpson getting selected, Caden Proctor a little ahead. That's definitely pushing a whole lot of other people back. So I'm pretty. This is good for some of these teams in the back half where they're kind of thinking that this is not how the draft would turn out. They're going to be able to get a good value player here. I just want to talk about Ruben Bain. I don't think we talked about him, what he brings to the table. 6'3", 270. He didn't run a 40, but last year he had 9.5 sacks, 30 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and an interception. We're not talking about the film right here. If we could show the film, you would see just a total wrecking ball. I mean, there's a play where when we watch Akeem Mesidor, we had a pretty good video come out a while ago. We put on the Akeem Mesidor film to watch Ruben Bain Jr. And what you could see is we broke down this one clip, which was awesome because it's an Akeem Mesidor sack, but it's brought to you by Ruben Bain Jr. I think he went across 4 offensive players in that one play. He went across the tackle, guard, tight end with a chip, and then the running back. All eyes on him. So if he brings that to Tampa Bay, he's just a one-man wrecking ball, and it's a fantastic pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anyways,
now we got
Jets
the
are
Jets
up,
at 16th, and I can see somebody put in the chat, do you think they could go Kenyon Sadiq here? And I wouldn't do it. I did have a hot take that I think Kenyon Sadiq would be the wide receiver 2 in the draft class. I would go Makai Lemon here as your slot, but maybe they draft Kenyon Sadiq to be a slot wide receiver. I do think it's an offensive playmaker here, for sure, without a doubt, is what I think the route they're going to go. Liam, who do you think they take here?
With the second first-round
they picked David Bailey. I don't know. They don't need a lineman, which is funny, but we got Roger coming out.
Yeah, Roger.
2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Kenyon Sadiq.
And I'm a little ahead of you, but let's go.
Sadiq, all right. Our commenter, our chat dude, that was a hell of a prediction there. Almost like you might be ahead of the stream. We're gonna have to get a moderator out after you. I'm kidding. But Kenyon Sadiq is somebody that, truthfully, to me, I don't know how he fell this far. I mean, I know he's my 16th ranked player, but I think that he is somebody that is an incredible athlete. He's a 3-level route runner. You can line him off and off Y, put him out in the slot, out in perimeter blocking. He's a red zone threat day one. He reminds me so much of a young Vernon Davis as a wide receiver with how fast he is, how fluid of a route runner he is. Because what you notice with him is his pad level never changes in and out of his breaks. When he's going in the stem of his routes, when he's making the breaks against linebackers and safeties. And in the modern NFL day and scheme, what NFL teams and defenses are trying to do are trying to have the safety mold of Nick Warrior and Kyle Hamilton, where you have a bigger safety where when they go 12 personnel, you don't have to sacrifice getting smaller. Well, the counter to that is, in 12 personnel, is getting a guy like Kenyon Sadiq out on an island against these safeties and letting them go to work. I like the pick, Liam. What do you think about it?
I'm pretty surprised right here. I didn't think tight end was a need for the Jets. I mean, they had Mason Taylor, right?
Yeah, that's a
and
fair
then
point.
they just drafted him last year, and he was a high draft pick, and then they go Kenyon Sadiq. Of course, it'd be the Jets to forget who they drafted last year. They have no future outlook, but this is a great pick for the Geno-led New York Jets now. They got Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Kenyon Sadiq, and then they got who did they get from the Colts in that trade? I'm drawing a blank on his name. Adonai Mitchell. Their offense, I have no words to describe their offense. I'm not going to say anything, but it's the Jets. But Kenyon Sadiq, let's talk about him. I had him as a sleeper. I didn't think he was going to get picked because wants and needs. I thought the Chiefs maybe at 29 was going to be something, but let's talk about him. 6'3", 245. He ran a 4.3940 as a tight end. See, that's why I was a big fan of him. He has a 9.48 relative athletic score. And then for stats, not eye-popping stats, we'll be honest. 51 catches, 560 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was averaging 11 yards a catch. He is a yak merchant though, which is nice. He's gonna get it and then go. He's got that speed. Like I was talking about earlier when our chat asked about who's your favorite sleeper and I brought up Sadiq. Sadiq is a guy where if you put a middle linebacker on him, mismatch. If you put a corner on him, your defense is going to be all sorts of messed up. You're probably going to be the wrong personnel. Hopefully, Geno is going to be smart enough to change up the play call and go towards a weakness because that would just not be. And he'll still give the corner a hard time too. So
yeah, and I mean, you got to like it for what the Jets are trying to do on offense because, I mean, with Frank Reich, Geno Smith can provide you a high floor. They've got a good offensive line in place. They've got Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell at wide receiver. I think what this just shows is they are probably going to go bigger, 12 personnel, but Kenyon Sadiq is going to be more of their slot wide receiver, truthfully. Because I think Mason Taylor shows you a lot of nice things as a rookie tight end, having 580 receiving yards. And, I mean, I like the pick for the Jets because they're in a mode where they just need to take the best player available. And if I'm being honest on offense, I think that Kenyon Sadiq was the best player left. I might have gone Mekhi Lemon.
You had him as a wide receiver too, didn't you?
I did. To be honest with you, I went like receiving threats in this draft. I ranked Jordan Tyson, Kenyon Sadiq, Cardinal Tate, then Mekhi Lemon, and I'll stick and be confident with that. But now we turn our eyes to the Lions at 17. And the tackle that I think should be the number one runaway pick would be Monroe Freeling. I'm getting pretty shocked that he's falling this far because I think he has by far the highest ceiling in the draft. He's my 8th ranked player. I'm incredibly high on him. But my sleeper pick here that I didn't think he would come off the board this early. I thought that he would come off the board around 23 for the Eagles, but now with Caden Proctor being off the board and Penei Sewell being moved to left tackle, I think the question is it Monroe Freeling or is it Blake Miller? And Blake Miller, to me, is an offensive lineman that screams Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell loves to run gap scheme. He started 54 career games, was a high school wrestler. He's just a big, nasty mauler of a player. And meanwhile, Monroe Freeling is more of an athlete, higher ceiling, better in pass pro and zone, and isn't a scheme fit. I think they go offensive tackle here, but I don't know which one it's going to be.
We got a run of NFC North teams right here with the Lions and Vikings. I think Lions, they don't need an offensive weapon. You could say like a secondary position might be needed, but I think the offensive line would be more important to address right here. Monroe Freeling is a complete athlete. He would help out the Lions tremendously on the line. He's fantastic. He's day one ready. So Monroe Freeling, I think, would be the pick for me right here for the Lions, even though I hope they mess it up.
Even though you hope they mess it up, I would go Monroe Freeling as well. I think it's going to be offensive tackle regardless because that's what they need to build those trenches out, replace Taylor Decker. And the player that reminds me the most of them is Blake Miller. So, I mean, it's going to be between Blake Miller and Monroe Freeling. We've got Goodell coming up here. Y'all watch in the chat. Y'all drop who you think it's going to be. I think it's going to be curious which route they go. Are they going to go with the lower ceiling player because he's a scheme fit or the player with the highest ceiling? I guess we got somebody to announce the pick for Goodell.
During World Wish Month. Tonight, you all have the opportunity to help grant an unforgettable wish. I'm joined here by Easton, a 14-year-old Lions fan whose wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team.
I think it'd be insane if Mekhi Lemon falls all the way to Pittsburgh.
That would
Look at the
be
board.
a or what if the Panthers take him at 19?
Yeah.
He makes his wish come true. Take it away, Easton.
All right. Easton's coming up to make the pick for us here.
Okay.
With the 17th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft,
How about that?
the Detroit Lions select.
Man, your boy is falling. We've had a couple falls so far.
Yep.
That's all right.
That's okay. And I mean, for everything that I can speak about, Blake Miller, our #1 video on TikTok is that I asked to see the next Lane Johnson because I thought his best fit would be falling to the Eagles at 23 to learn underneath them. And it's kind of funny. Lane Johnson himself actually liked that TikTok. But, you know,
How about that?
Actual NFL offensive linemen's watching our stuff. It's pretty wild. But more importantly, talking about Blake Miller, you can see it on the screen from the actual broadcast. They literally put Taylor Decker's name on it. The offensive line coach in me, why you gravitate towards Blake Miller is because they're showing it right here. When he gets in pass pro, his hand strike is always in the right place, the upfield shoulder of the edge. He always has his hips on a string to where when he's getting out in his kick set and he's looking and he's playing on an island, he knows where to strike. In the run game as well, he has a nasty streak as a mauler because in gap scheme, you see him pull constantly in a GY and GT counter where he goes and smacks the edge force player at Sam or a defensive end. And that's exactly who you want. He's a Dan Campbell guy because he's somebody, go look at his Instagram. He's got hunting and all the country boy stuff that you want out of him. And I mean, I like the pick. I would have gone Monroe Freeling because Monroe Freeling to me I think is the highest ceiling as a left tackle. And I'm a little surprised he's falling this far. But it's a good, solid pick for the Lions. I'd probably grade it as a B because Blake Miller is my 22nd ranked player, and it's just because I think that his ceiling is not quite as high. He's just going to be a guy that goes and starts for 10 years, and you forget that he started for 10 years. But the other NFC North teams coming up with Roger Goodell here, the 18th pick. Do you think it's... We'll see what he says.
NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Caleb Banks.
Wow, that is
Wow.
a jump.
Wow.
He's athletic. Caleb Banks. They just got rid of Jonathan Hargrave.
Jonathan Allen.
No. Their nose tackle. We picked him up.
Javon Hargrave.
The Packers did. Yeah. So, I mean, they needed to fill his position. A lot of people had them picking a safety, but Caleb Banks, I thought he was going to slide with his broken foot that he got from the combine. But, I mean, this is a jump, but Mason, I think it was a need, and he's one of those guys that is he's a freak athlete. Do we want to go over his size and just how insane he is to move for a man that size, Mason?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about Caleb Banks a lot because he's just a player that it's kind of like Jordan Tyson, right? None of the concern for him was anything that he showed on film. It was the injuries and the character concerns because Caleb Banks is somebody that as games go on and he is in the game for longer, he starts playing with a really high pad level. But he's honestly the closest thing to Dexter Lawrence in this draft because of his size and athleticism.
Yeah.
Being that big, showing the pass rushing ability at being 6'6", 330 pounds, running almost a sub 540 is wild. He's somebody that day one you're able to put at the middle of your defense is to be able to rush the passer. Think Christian Wilkins, think Dexter Lawrence. The concern with them, though, is we've seen it with big defensive tackles. When they have the fifth metatarsal fractures in the foot, that is what scares you off of them just a little bit. But I like the Vikings taking a swing here. It's a bit of a reach, but not as much as you think. Consensus has him as player 42. I have him as player 30, and if we took the risk factors away, he'd have a clear first-round grade. So the only thing that's risky with him that's bringing him down is the injuries, Liam.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to step on the field until I think it was like mid-June, late June is what reports were saying because of his foot. He's got to keep that weight on. He's a nose tackle. He's 6'6", 335 pounds, all right? He's a mammoth of a human being, and he runs a 4.04 40. If he could get a 4.99, that would be insane for his size. A 9.84 relative athletic score. Let's break that down for you. So the relative athletic score is just data taken from combines and personal workouts, and they put it in a formula. And so he ranked 34 out of 2,100 nose tackles taken since like 1999, I think is what it is from. He ranks in the top 1% for athletic score for nose tackles. So that is great help for Caleb Banks. He's a nose tackle. His stats weren't just off the charts, but he just does everything well, from stopping the run to even he has great technique, I think, with his hands using against guards and centers to get around them, to spin them around, to just go force the quarterback to get outside. So with who the Vikings have at the D line, I'm a little worried because he's definitely going to probably overshadow some of our linemen in the NFC North.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, again, it's a swing for the fences. It's completely different from what Kwesi Adolfo was doing, and that's why I think they moved off of him, is Brian Flores goes and gets somebody that he's like, hey, I can build my defense around them. Now we got the Panthers at 19. Makai Lemon, watch for sure. Monroe Freeling, watch for sure. Caleb Lomu, watch for sure. I think it's going to be offensive tackle or wide receiver. Dylan Thieneman would be interesting here, though, because they also do need a safety.
Yeah, I mean, Makai Lemon would be nice to add another weapon. I'm sure Panthers fans would love that, but I don't think it's really what they need. I think Jalen Coker is a sufficient kind of slot, more of the slot receiver, and Tedero is that X. They run like a two. They have two tight ends that I think can get the job done. So I don't really think that the Panthers have a receiving problem. I would rather fix another issue with pick 19. They kind of fixed that linebacker edge. They really brought that in. They got a great cornerback. So it's like safety and then lineman for me is what I'm looking at right here. Dylan Thieneman is there. And then like you said, and then, yeah, Monroe Freeling, I think would be the pick right here for the Carolina Panthers.
It's what I would do, but not to take away from what the Panthers are doing, but there is a trade that just came through. The Eagles are trading with the Cowboys to move up from 23 to 20. So that, I think, is dependent on if Makai Lemon is still on the board for them. Are they going to go wide receiver to replace A.J. Brown? Or, more importantly, is it because they didn't take Monroe Freeling and they're moving up to get their tackle? I don't know. Goodell's walking out for the Panthers, so we're going to be able to know what the Eagles traded for after we see this Panthers pick here.
1948 coming up.
With the 19th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Carolina
All right.
Monroe.
It's your guy.
All right, it's my guy, Monroe
I'm sorry
Freeling.
I'm a little ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. The viewers are also going to be a little behind, too. Apologize about the internet connection. But, I mean, Monroe Freeling is my 8th ranked player. You get him at 19. He has the highest ceiling out of any player in the draft class. He's 6'7", 315 pounds, 4'9", 340. But more importantly, his relative athletic score was 9.99. And you can see it on there. He's huge, agility, and bend. That's what you get with this player here, is he does things on tape that normal offensive linemen just can't do because they aren't athletic enough. He's somebody that's like a Bambi in the position. He's still figuring out the limits of his body. He's got 36-inch arms. Every time he strikes that upfield shoulder, even if he's out of position and frame, he's going to be okay. What I love the most and what they're showing is his ability to snap opposite. It's an incredible highlight of what he can do, where he can displace first-level defenders to go capture the second level because of how athletic he is. I think it's an incredible fit for what the Panthers are trying to do on the offensive line. They can make their 6th overall pick from a couple years ago in 2022, Ike Ekwonu, play guard now and have a big, physical, mean green offensive line.
Yeah, and Bryce Young needs it. I mean, hopefully it's just Monroe Freeling isn't too big to where Bryce can't see over it. But offensive line was definitely something that the Panthers would love to get. They fixed a lot of problems that they had in free agency, so this was just another one. Hey, Panthers almost beat the Los Angeles Rams, so that's a good football team they got there.
It is. Now we got the Eagles coming up, and do you think they made this trade for Lemon? Do you think that's what they did here? Well, Goodell's about to announce it.
In the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select
Yep, there you go.
I
AJ
already got.
Brown.
I'm gonna make her.
AJ Brown, you're
AJ
not
Brown's
an
out of
Eagle.
there.
That's for dang sure.
Congratulations, AJ Brown. You're a Patriot. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know why they made that trade though is because they had to leapfrog the Steelers.
Yeah, because with Micaiah still being there, um, the Steelers were going to take him. Steelers probably upset now. They got to go with Casey Concepcion, who is, Micaiah was our third-ranked wide receiver, and then there's a big drop-off before we start seeing the other guys. So Steelers fans are probably very upset that they almost had Micaiah Lemon right there.
You tell he's your guy. You want him to go to the Dolphins at 11. He falls all the way down to 20. Talk about your guy, Mekhi Lemon, man.
I was trying to get a tweet going for Jalen Hurts overthrowing and underthrow Micaiah Lemon right there, but
no, get the tweet going. I can talk about him because I mean, Mekhi Lemon, you
okay.
got it. Do it. Go for it. So, I mean, Mekhi Lemon's 5'11", 180 pounds. He's a playmaker. He is basically, to me, he has the mindset of a linebacker playing wide receiver, which the offensive line coach in me really, really loves because he's just a mean, green wide receiver. He's somebody that can be a number one playmaker in an offense, but he's limited to where he's going to have to play slot. He's going to have to play the intermediate levels of the field. But for the Eagles, you've now got Dontavian Wicks and Devontae Smith out wide, and you've got Mekhi Lemon on the inside to play slot. What this shows you is A.J. Brown is not going to be an Eagle. And Mekhi Lemon, he's got an exciting highlight tape with the contested catch rate, the separation over the middle, the intermediate levels of being able to catch it. Just the question is, as Liam's busy tweeting out from the War Room, is will Jalen Hurts be able to actually complete the forward pass to Mekhi
Lemon? Probably not. I'm happy Mekhi Lemon got drafted. He was kind of falling for me. I was super high on him. He's the Biletnikoff Award winner, not given lightly. He's a fantastic slot receiver. I think he was one of my favorite players in the draft for sure. Let me pull up. Did you go through the stats already?
No, you give us the stats. Give us the rundown on Mekhi Lemon.
All right. At a USC, he had 79 catches last year for 1,156 yards, which is an average of 14.6 yards a catch and 11 tutties. The first two receivers taken off the board didn't break 1,000. So, and a lot of the yards that he had were after the catch. He's fantastic right there. You don't have to do much for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to be an insane quarterback to get yards off of him, Devontae Smith, and Dontavian Wicks. They kind of got three similar players now. So I'm wondering what the Eagles are going to do with those wide receivers. They can all kind of do the same thing. Dontavian Wicks is a great separator. Devontae Smith, he's a go-getter. And then Mekhi Lemon, I see him as being the slot. He's super quick, and he's fantastic with the yak. If you play zone against him, he's going to be a guy that's just in the middle. He'll find the weak spot of the zone, the soft spot of it, catch. If he breaks one tackle, he takes it from just a 5 to 7 yard catch to 20 very easily. So I'm a big fan of the Eagles drafting him. You just need Jalen Hurts to get on board.
Yeah, and I mean, it is the perfect insurance for the A.J. Brown trade that's going to happen in June. That I think we all know he's going to be a Patriot, and this just screams he's not going to be there. And getting in front of the Steelers when Mekhi Lemon wouldn't be there. I think Mekhi Lemon's my 18th ranked player on the WarRoom player grade model. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. We have a 7.3 film grade on him. We have the projection of him being an above average to Pro Bowl level wide receiver. He is one of the only. He was one of three players remaining with a clear first round grade for us. The other two that are still on the board are Cade McDonald and Jermod McCoy. But Mekhi Lemon, 18th ranked player. You trade up, give some day 3 picks to get him at 20. Great process, great selection. And now we've got the Steelers coming in at pick 21. The pick is in. I could see Caleb Lomu at tackle here. I could see an edge in TJ Parker here. But what I do think they're going to do is they're going to go take Casey Concepcion at wide receiver, Liam. What do you think?
Yeah, I've talked about him for a long time. I was thinking about it all today. He's the best help for the... This is fantastic right now what they got going for Pittsburgh. He's the best help for the offense with DK Metcalf, and Michael Pittman Jr. Casey Concepcion would be fantastic. Great slot. Similar to Mekhi Lemon, there is a big drop off. I know this is going to be picked 20 to 21, but there's a huge drop off for wide receiver. So if they do go edge here, no, I don't want them to go edge because they still got TJ, and I thought Jack Sawyer finished the season super strong last
Yeah.
year. So I don't think they would really need an edge. I think that would be just kind of a waste. So yeah, either offensive line. Who did we say? Who's still there? Spencer? No,
Caleb Lomu
my bad.
or Max
Caleb.
Eichenacre. My deal of why I say edge is because I think Alex Highsmith is a cut candidate. TJ Watt is 32 years old. Nick Herbig is a designated pass rusher. He isn't an every down player. And then there's Jack Sawyer, who is, like you said, you're a little higher on him maybe. I think wide receiver is the route they're going to go. The only thing that I could see if it's not is if what they do and decide here is that Caleb Lomu is going to play tackle and Fotnu is going to kick inside. So I'm curious what they decide to do. You could also maybe
It's in Pittsburgh. They want to do something exciting. They got to go Casey.
I would love it for him. I think it would be the playmaker that Mike McCarthy wants. I don't think C.J. Allen is in the conversation here. I think that'd be a heck of a reach, but
That would be awful.
I could see tackle here. I really could see it. I don't know what tackle it would be though, because
Casey or I don't really like Caleb, but like is Max too much of a reach right here?
see, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy, but I think Caleb Lomu is the safer player. He might have a lower ceiling, but he is higher graded for me because Max Eichenacre came in as my 33rd ranked player on my big board, so it'd be a little bit of a reach, but you're drafting him off of the ceiling. But it looks like they're getting the pick going. They got Jerome Bettis up there for the city. So I'll let them talk about celebrating or whatever. But
Celebrate Pittsburgh. Great football town.
it is a great football town. Historic. We're going to get to see Mike Tomlin now on Sunday Night Football for Tomlinisms, but
Yeah, he's going to be great for TV.
100%.
I wouldn't go defense here. Don't pick defense.
Yeah, I would definitely go Concepcion or O-line here for sure.
We wish all of you the best as you continue your football journeys. The last time I introduced the Steelers' first-round pick, I was fortunate to
Is
introduce
that how you say it?
and with the 21st pick in the 2026
All right.
NFL Draft,
I'm a little behind.
Ihanachor. Sorry.
Ihanachor, not Eichenacre, Ihanachor. All right. Hey, you called it. You said it might not be a reach, and obviously it wasn't. They felt comfortable enough to go for him and take him.
Oh, that guy has his pants down. Wow.
He just get mooned on live TV. That's incredible. I could talk about him because
when
he's
he
a.
gets picked, you can watch him. Yeah, you know the lineman better, but I like Max is great. Arizona State. Don't have a whole lot of stats about him because he's an offensive lineman, but he's just athletic, 6'5", 321. Pittsburgh needed a guy. I think Caleb Lomu, they didn't pick him because he had some stuff come out about his medicals kind of late, so I think that's probably why they decided to go with Max over Caleb, but still, I mean, he just has a whole bunch of raw strength. He's a right tackle. I think it's funny because didn't last year, wasn't there a problem with the tackle and Aaron Rodgers having beef or something? So
Yes.
I wonder if this is a pick from Rodgers. So you talk about him though.
Well, I mean, it's like they said, he's a basketball player turned football player. He is just growing in and finding out the limits of his body because he just started playing the position less than 2 years ago. He didn't allow a sack last year, and it's because he's got the athletic profile of Armand Mimbu. We know how good Armand Mimbu was for the Jets last year because he's every bit of 6'6", 321 pounds. And unlike Francis Mauigoa, who's also 6'6", he's actually got the length in the upper half that makes it worth being that big with that arm length. And I think he's just an incredible athlete. He's somebody that is going to be able to day one start at right tackle, kick Fontenot inside to guard, have Broderick Jones at left tackle, keep Aaron Rodgers upright. His ceiling is every bit of the world that you can imagine. He's got a great story. It's incredible for the city of Pittsburgh because it might not be the exciting, flashy pick that you would have expected, but what it does mean is that I think this is going to keep Aaron Rodgers back in tow for one more year. They're going to be able to run the football better. Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to actually cook in the pocket. And I'm excited for what it means for the Pittsburgh offense and Max Eichenacre's career in the NFL. So, and it also kind of goes with what we've talked about the offensive linemen that are going to come off the board. Because what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what 6 offensive linemen that have been taken already in the top 21 picks?
Yeah.
That might be
We thought there was
more.
going to be a run. It didn't turn out to the run that we thought, but I mean, still,
We
there's
still got
a
time.
ton just flying off the board.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hey, you know who I think is going to be right here? Chargers.
Who?
I think it's going to be your guy, Caden McDonald, right here.
Okay. I would like that for them. I think that would be fill a need. I could see also it being Mesidor Falk at edge. I could also see them just saying F it and taking Keelan Rutledge. I could also see Thieneman or Jermod McCoy because they need some help in the secondary. It could be best defensive player available, or they make the reach and go Keelan Rutledge at guard. I would like it if it's Caden McDonald. That's what I would want.
I think they would go with Harbaugh, a big-bodied dude. I think I don't like Falk, so that's why I'd rather them go with McDonald. I thought McDonald was going to go before. He was going to be the first, really. So Caleb Banks, that was such a jump, really. I thought he was going to slide with the broken foot.
But it's like we talked about, right? Once you start getting close to pick 20, everyone's boards are a little different with how they view players. And so, I mean, it's not too shocking to me. But offensive lineman-wise, we've had 7 offensive linemen get picked. But enough. What are the Chargers doing here?
The Los Angeles Chargers select
Akeem Mesidor. Absolute reach. I don't like
Interesting.
it. I don't like it. I don't like Akeem Mesidor. I have him as my 44th ranked player, and you get him at 22.
I see a problem with his age. I don't think his play was that bad. It could be boosted, just like we talk about Carnell Tate. His play could be boosted by another better player. He's a good athlete, but yeah, we don't know about how much did Ruben Bain Jr. help his. See, like that play right there, the right tackle and a running back chip blocked Ruben Bain, and Hakeem Mesidor was the guy one-on-one, right? So now this is a guy being drafted 22 overall, edge rusher. You'd want him to be the guy being the one taking up all the eyes in college, right? And then he's also 25. So, this pick is very interesting.
It's just kind of like a meh pick because my deal is I think the ceiling is just so low with Akeem Mesidor. He's 25 years old. He was a nose tackle at West Virginia coming out of college back in 2019. That's how long he's been in college. He broke his foot. He's had a collarbone injury. He's had a knee injury, and it's only until he lost weight, got to Miami, and was put on the edge next to Ruben Bain that he magically started showing up. And I mean, he does some good stuff on tape. I don't want to take it away from him. He's got the NFL measurables for it. I just don't think that the flashes are there enough to make you think that this is a first-round edge rusher. I would have gone Zion Young, Malachi Fields, or not
Lawrence.
Fields, Malachi Lawrence, thank you, out of UCF. That's what I would have done here if you're going edge over Akeem Mesidor. But, at the very least, it does fill a position of need because Khalil Mack is 34, and this is going to probably be his last year. And then Tailu Tuiapolito as your number one edge is not ideal. It's a curious decision for me for the Chargers because I would have gone Caden McDonald at defensive tackle personally, or I would have taken Zion Young. But it's going to probably, I'll be honest with you, Liam, it's getting an F grade draft grade from me because it's just, Akeem Mesidor is my 44th ranked player, and he got picked at 22. I can't justify or defend it.
I'm looking up the Chargers offseason moves because I just want to see what they did because they were in the playoffs. They were playing the Patriots. I thought their defense was great against the Patriots offense. I thought the problem with the Chargers was that their offense didn't have any motion at all. So I'm surprised with their first round pick, they go with defensive help. Um, so they had some of the worst luck I've ever seen with offensive linemen ever during this course of their season. Just every offensive lineman, they have a good O line. All of them got injured. So and then, okay, so they went heavy with line in the offseason. Cole Strange, Trevor Penning. They got. I just saw one.
They re-signed
Trey
Jair
Pipkins.
Carr.
They brought back Pipkins. They got Joe Alt. We know he's fantastic. So, yeah, I'm surprised that. I mean, yeah, I guess it was edge or D tackle really, or anything in the secondary. But I guess they're fine with who they have at wide receiver. But I'm kind of done talking about the Chargers. If you want to talk about your boys again on the board at 23.
Well, yeah, so I mean, Dallas is up, and they've got a kind of interesting situation here because if everyone remembers mock drafts, there's really three players here that were mocked to him at 12 that are now here at pick 23. Jermod McCoy, Dylan Thieneman, and Keldrick Falk. I saw mock drafts all off season where they had to take them at 12, and they're sitting here at 23. If I am the Dallas Cowboys and it's just I'm shooting my shot, I'm the GM, I don't care, I'm taking BPA, I would take Dylan Thieneman, to be honest with you, because Dylan Thieneman is my 19th ranked player. They corner, I know they say it's a need. They need somebody that can play now. Jermod McCoy wouldn't be able to play now right away. I would like it purely off of upside, but if you get Dylan Thieneman, what that does is basically you're saying that Caleb Downs is your Mike linebacker, and Dylan Thieneman now is in the secondary, and it allows what you want to see with Christian Parker and that multiple scheme and system. What I don't think makes sense here is wide receiver. If it ends up being Keldrick Falk, I'll be kind of iffy and okay with it because we do need a true 5 technique edge rusher in our base down stuff after losing Osa Odigizua, and Keldrick Falk can do that, and he'd be able to set the edge and the strength of our defense. What I would really love, though, is if they just swung for the fences and went Dylan Thieneman.
Or, I mean, I like Thieneman better than McNeil Warren, but even him, he's got a great size, so I'd be interested to see. Cornerbacks aren't flying off the board, so they can pick them later, right, Mason? So don't reach with Jermod McCoy right here.
I don't know. We're gonna see. I think the Cowboys picks coming up here at the Goodell. Knowing Jerry's probably gonna just reach on something.
Why?
Are you ahead? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm kind of shocked. I mean, you kind of...
No. No, thank
you. He's good, but...
No, thank you. No,
I mean, how much more edge do you need?
Nope. No, thank you.
How much capital have the Cowboys put into their D-line? Like, since Micah Parsons left, it seems like all they've been worried about is their line with Scorton, right? And then Rashawn Gary, Quincy Williams, Kenny Clark.
Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Donovan Ezeraku, and Rashawn Gary.
Ezeraku, my bad. I thought Scorton's a Panther. But
this is what
you have a brand new D-line, and then you're like, yeah, we need more. Your secondary is the problem.
Well, so in free agency, though, we signed a lot of corners to address it. We pretty much went and got the Rams secondary. I mean, if you pull up the Dallas Cowboys offseason moves, who they signed is Darian Kendrick at corner. They went and got, I always forget his name. It's not Kobe Williams, Kobe Durant. They went and got him. He started 39 and 61 games with the Rams for 4 years. They went and signed Jalen Thompson. They drafted Caleb Downs. They have Darian Kendrick as well, Siobhan Revel, Deron Bland. That is enough in the secondary room to be okay. What is going to set the strength of your defense is always going to be how good your how good your defensive line and front seven is. And that's just what it seems like they're going for with the trade with Rashawn Gary. Is he's not going to be a stand-up edge rusher. They're going to let him be big, play him at the 5 technique, and they wanted a stand-up edge rusher with some juice. And at the very least, it's what Malachi Lawrence did at UCF. I will say, though, it is a big, big reach. I can't grade the pick high because Malachi Lawrence didn't crack my top 50 big board. I had him ranked as my 54th ranked player, and they're drafting him at 23, which, tell you what, I mean, consensus-wise, we're going to be wrong. We're not going to see things the same way NFL teams are, but I think it's a reach.
Mason, what if the Chargers went with Caden McDonald and Akeem Mesidor was on the board? You think Jerry would have picked him?
I do think
he would have been like, we got the next best thing to Ruben Bain Jr.
I mean, there's just so many better edges on the board, right? Like, there was Zion Young, there's TJ Parker, there's Cassius Howe, there's R. Mason Thomas. I would have taken any of those edges before I took Malachi Lawrence.
Talking about TJ Parker, I mean, Ruben Bain Jr. had a slide, but what about TJ Parker? I thought he was ranked pretty high. Like, Akeem Mesidor, Malachi Lawrence, like, I thought he would have been. Is it because Ruben Bain Jr. went back and now? I don't see Keldrick Falk breaking the top 50 now with what that list you just gave off.
Yeah, I don't think Keldrick Falk is getting drafted in the first round now. I think he's sliding out for sure with the way that this board's falling for him. But
absolutely.
At the very least, we now know what Dallas is going to do, right? Because they have now solved their secondary and they've solved their defensive line. So the middle rounds are going to be a developmental tackle, a receiving threat, a running back, and then most importantly, an off-ball linebacker. And I think with all the extra day 2 picks they've picked up by trading down, and they only gave up a 5th-round pick and they acquired 2 more from the Philadelphia Eagles, what I do think now that is going to happen is they're going to be able to take my guy like Jake Galday or Josiah Trotter at off-ball linebacker on day 2. But it's a weird, interesting pick, Malachi Lawrence. I think he was definitely split in the NFL draft community on where people thought he was going to go. But he comes in at pick 23. I hope this doesn't end up looking like Taco Charlton a couple years later, because that's what I'm really scared about. But now we're sitting here with the Browns at 24.
Ball knowledge.
And yeah, W ball knowledge with that. But now the Browns.
I saw somebody say that the only thing you don't want happening on the first round draft night is having your player become ball knowledge.
100%. That's the one thing you don't want to have happen, where you're seeing a deep cut on TikTok and somebody's like, name a forgotten player from the 2010s. If your guy shows up there, you know your team picked a bad player.
Hey, we only have how many left are there?
About 8 picks.
8 picks left?
Yeah, so I mean, the Browns are at 24. I think Omar Cooper Jr. is going to be the pick. That's kind of been their guy. I thought they might have picked him all the way up back at 12, but he's kind of now fallen down just a little bit to pick 23 or pick 24. He's on the board here. He plays just like Rashee Rice, more or less. I think that's who he'll go with. Do you see anybody else that could be in play here for the Browns?
I mean, wide receiver they didn't address, so that's a big one. I don't think Casey Concepcion with Jerry Jeudy would be very good. What other holes do they have? I mean, I would say cornerback just because they're kind of getting a little older there. I mean, they drafted some, but I think their main one, Denzel Ward, is a little older. Here's Roger Goodell. We'll find out in a second.
I mean, I think we both have Casey Concepcion ranked higher, but is that who they go with? Because he's kind of a similar player to Jerry Jeudy.
With the 24th pick in the 2026
All right.
NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Casey Concepcion.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't think his value is going to be great right there because he just does a lot of similar things to Jerry Jeudy. They're bringing up his stats, right? Not his stats, but his dynamics. And it's yak, which is what Jerry Jeudy does, yards after catch. So, I mean, who's their X now, right? Is it Jerry Jeudy?
pretty much. I mean, they don't have any other X. Like, look what they're saying about him.
Is it
Dynamic.
Harold Bannon Jr.?
Yes, pretty much is who it is.
I don't really like this. I mean, I thought Casey Concepcion would flourish in the Steelers' offense with who he's around, and now he's in a Todd Munkin um, team. Jerry Judy and him are going to be just fighting for probably the same routes. Um, of course, the Browns would probably do something like this.
Let's talk
I just,
about
I mean,
let's talk a little positively about Casey Concepcion first before we
okay,
talk about fit,
okay.
because I mean he is our 25th ranked player. You get him at 24. I do think he's a better football player than Omar Cooper Jr. What he does very well is he separates well. He's got a good burst. He is a 3-level route runner. He does have to play slot. He's got good pre-snap motion. Todd Monken loves to play in the condensed sets, 12 personnel, multiple running backs and tight ends on the field. It adds another player for them to throw to with Jerry Judy and now Casey Concepcion. Just like you said, the concern is that they're very similar type of players, and we're concerned for Casey Concepcion because I don't think he's going to be able to reach his ceiling in Cleveland.
Yeah, he's 5'11", 190, so he is that smaller guy. I think he's a great size for a slot. He's the second best slot receiver in my opinion. I wouldn't count Jordan Tyson as a slot, but Micaiah Lemon I would, and so I would have him as the best. If you couldn't get Micaiah Lemon, I think Casey Concepcion is great. So now, okay, let's talk about stats. 61 catches, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns. He averaged 15.1 yards a catch, which is very good, of course. And so, just
Well,
I okay. His praises. He's great in the slot. We already talked about that. He'll take it and go. Similar to Micaiah Lemon with the Browns, if you can get him in the soft spot of his zone, he can win man on man, of course, but especially he can expose the zone so bad. Find him in the soft spot, breaks one tackle, he can make a 5-yard route, a 5-yard play to 20 very quickly. So, Concepcion, it'll work out. It'll work out. We're happy.
time will tell with it, but now we turn our attention to the Bears at pick 25. And with the way the board's fallen, it kind of is going to come between, is it Dylan Dynaman, is it Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, or is it our guy, Cade McDonald? If you're the Bears GM, you got to have a defensive tackle, but also your safety's left. What are you doing here?
I would rather fix it up front and worry about the back later. I think AJ Honsley, the safety out of LSU, he would be a good value later in the draft. He doesn't have the speed that you love, but he's big, physical, kind of like Kevin Bird the third. So I would go with Cade McDonald, a nose tackle with great capabilities that's not going to be there later. I think that you could get AJ later. You can't get a guy like Katie McDonald later, so I'd
We
fix up the problems closer to the ball in the first round rather than later.
We do have a little bit of a trade here. The Houston Texans are moving up a couple spots with the Bills to pick 26, probably because they want to get Caleb Lomu tackle. That'd be the reason I think they make that trade. But a little bit of an interesting one for sure.
We still have the Seahawks probably getting calls too. I'm sure the Steelers are probably in there right now talking to the Seahawks. And I'm sure that they're sitting there waiting to hear from anybody else too, just kind of getting a gauge on what their value is for that pick. What can they get more of? We heard McDonald talk about how he wants more picks. They only have like 4, right?
Yeah, they don't
Something
really
crazy.
have any
So,
day 2 or day 3 picks. So I mean, I think that's the
who's
trade
gonna-
up spot, and I mean, there's some really good players falling right now with Jermon McCoy being on the board. You've got Cade McDonald, Dylan Theineman, Peter Woods, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is kind of in the range now. I'm still a little higher on Keldrick Falk's ceiling. Truthfully, I am, but I'm starting to worry he's going to fall out of the first round.
I can see that happening. I think I'd be okay with it. I think that they got a like I said, nose tackle here. I wouldn't hate a safety either, but I saw some people saying that like Omar would be great here for the Bears because they got rid of DJ Moore, but I think that would be a terrible pick if they go wide receiver here. D tackle or safety, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that based off value, for me, Cade McDonald, you can get my 15th ranked player at pick 25, fills a position of need, can be the strength of your run game and defense. It's what I would do. I might be a little higher on Cade McDonald though because I value what he does more because I just think that he's somebody that'll day one improve your run defense and you can still leave him on third down to give you upside rushing the passer. But I can also see Peter Woods being here for him, coming in at 3 tech, rushing the passer. Ultimately, with their safeties leaving, who's fallen, I think it's between Dylan Thieneman and Cade McDonald. But we'll let.
I like Peter Woods too, but I would rather. I think he's a little lighter for nose tackle, so I would rather go with Cade McDonald. But we'll see in just a few seconds.
Your top 2 available right now are safeties.
Yeah, McNeil, Warren, and Thieneman.
Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 25th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Dylan Thieneman.
Yep. Okay. They replaced the Birdman, as you like to say.
Yeah. He is insanely fast for a safety like that, Mason. I can't watching his film, you just grow to like him even more. 6 foot 205, 4.35 40. Yeah, I said that right. This guy right here on your screen. He can do just about anything for the offense, for the defense, sorry. Last year he had 92 tackles, a sack, 2 interceptions, and a 5 pass breakups. So, he's fantastic. He has the speed. He's one of the quickest players on the field, which is crazy. He can play down on the run. And then also, he's just smart. Some people are like, well, he's not tall enough for a safety that I'd like to have. I don't know what else you'd want. He can do it. I mean, what good is a 6'2" height if he's not in the right spot? Dylan is 6 foot and he'll be in the right spot to break up the pass. I hate that he's a Bear. He's going to be giving the Packers he's going to be giving Jordan Love some tough looks. He's got a great speed to where he can bait the quarterback to throw to an open spot when he thinks he has it. And he's that 4.35 speed, which is, I can't believe that. This guy right here, he can break on that angle and get a pick or a pass breakup. What do you have for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's just somebody that I thought was going to end up with the Vikings, right? Because I thought he was going to be the middle pole runner in Brian Flores' inverted Tampa 2 coverage. But he is somebody that shows up over the entire middle of the field of your defense, 20 plus yards and out. And he's just somebody that's going to provide a blanket to your coverage. He's going to be able to also be somebody as well that can be a nickel defender on these bigger tight ends, where I think a little bit of the concerns show up is if you want him to really stick his nose into being a run defender, because I know he has a lot of tackles. I know it showed up at times. I just think that his frame, his physicality at times is a little bit of lacking. It's not quite as good as Caleb Downs. That's where the big separator is with him, but he is clearly a first-round safety. He's my 19th ranked player. You get him at 25, that's going to be an A grade for me. And I mean, they're showing it right now. Why you draft him is the fluid movement with his hips, to where he's going to be carrying the deep middle half of the field, and he's going to be able to track the football and be a playmaker for your defense. So I like to pick for what they needed, but I would have gone Cade McDonald.
It's hilarious that they're showing Harrison Smith as his comparison.
That is pretty funny.
I've been saying that he's the reincarnation of Harrison Smith since I've started seeing Dylan Thieneman. So
you're gonna have to carry it,
I think
Liam.
this is a great value.
I gotta go take a leak myself. We've been going for 4 hours, guys, so I'm gonna hop out real quick.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got it. Houston Texans trading up for this pick right here. I believe it is. I think my thing might be behind. Yeah, Houston trading with Buffalo. They're going to go with most likely a lineman here. There's not a whole lot. Some people were talking about maybe they go running back, but there's no running back worth this pick right here. Their defense is fantastic, so I would be surprised. Like nose tackle, yeah, they could go, and then like linebacker, like a middle linebacker, but still, I think that value is too high right there. So, I'm really thinking that they just go with the next best tackle or guard. Right here is where it gets a little tricky because you can see just about anything. Um, so we could see somebody like Chase Bisontis from Texas A&M, a guard. He's a great size. That would help them. Or they could go with Isaiah World out of Oregon. Um, what do we got? Caleb Lomu is still hanging there, which is pretty crazy. Some people had him going really high up. So the pick is in. I really think there's no way they go edge. I don't think cornerback is really necessary. It's that tackle, Caleb Lomu. They might go guard, you don't know. And then, yeah, they're not going to go corner. I don't know why they were showing that right there. Offensive tackle. Roger Goodell is up there. Shout out to everybody in the chat for watching. I thought there'd be one with my phone. Keelan Rutledge, fantastic. This is great because we had a previous video and I had him going at the number 30 spot. So, hey, got a good eye for linemen. Not a lot of people know that. Keelan Rutledge, and I said in that video, this is one of my favorite guys to watch. He is massive. And right here says he's a great anchor. I believe that. He doesn't have to do much because he's a guard. People are running into him. He's not a tackle that has to worry about his drop step, that has to worry about the edge. He's just a guy that's pin his ears back, he's gonna go forward. He doesn't care about he's not scared. He's physical and he's gonna try to dominate. And so in the run, he's gonna be a big help. In the pass, he's gonna be a big help. Kalen Rutledge, this is a great pick. Texans wanted him.
It's a wild pick, man.
You're back?
Keelan Rutledge at 26, man. Trading up.
Hey, I was talking about I mentioned that, I had him getting picked at 30 to the Dolphins, so 26. I was like, hey, I'm hyped. Hey, don't forget, I got eyes for linemen as well.
100%. You're a ball knower. You know ball, if you will. Hey, the Dolphins just made a trade from, according to this, with the Niners. Looks like they just trade up to the 27th pick.
Because they wanted Rutledge, so they're scared. Do they go with Chase, the Texas A&M guard, or are they going to go with Lomu because they're afraid they're not going to get a line? They can't go wide receiver here. If they go wide receiver here, I would quit the live.
Do you think it's
they already went tackle.
Do you think it's for Jermon McCoy?
Jermon McCoy.
That's who it's
for
gotta
sure.
be, right? Like, because they don't need him to play right away. That's not what they need. What they need is a good football player. And I bet, looking at the board and the way it falls, the 49ers make that trade thinking that Caleb Lomu will be there for him at pick 30, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot that the draft started so long ago. I forgot they went with tackle at the start, so I think they got it. They can't go double lineman. You got to go cornerback. That's hilarious that their first round picks are going to be a tackle that's questionable with discipline and this is ceiling, and then they're going to go with a guy that didn't even play last year. Kind of scary if I was a Miami Dolphin fan. Are they just building for next year?
I mean, that's what I think, to be honest with you.
Because then you get to see what you have with Jermon McCoy, and I'm sure he'll be fine. We've perfected, I said this a while ago, we've perfected the ACL repair. All right, back then, like early 2000s and before then, if you got an ACL, it was scary. You didn't know if you were going to play again. Look at the guys now. I mean, they're coming back 9 months after an Achilles, after an ACL. They're walking quicker than ever. We perfected the surgery. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So, Jermon McCoy here, I think, would be the best play.
It's what I would do. What I could see them doing, though, is going Omar Cooper Jr. as well. I could see that. I'm curious to see what they do here. It's got to be corner.
If they go Omar or Denzel Boston, I would laugh. That is not who they need. I know they need wide receivers, but I don't think that would help at all. Just commit to getting the number 1 overall pick next year and drafting Jeremiah Smith.
Honestly, just draft good football players. That's kind of the motto, right? Is draft the best player available. And at the very least, I didn't get to talk about the Texans pick getting Keelan Rutledge, and that kind of really excites me
Yeah,
because he's
go
a
for it.
player that just rose up my board. I'm sure you did a great job with it, but I'm just glad that they finally prioritized offensive line for C.J. Stroud in that offense because I didn't think they were going to do it, and so I'm glad that they did. But yeah, the Dolphins, man, I don't think it's going to be Omar Cooper Jr. because to me, Omar Cooper Jr. is a steal in day 2. He's a reach in day 1. And for the players that's ranked here, I don't know how you don't do Jermon McCoy. The medicals must just be that scary. Other corners that I like for him here is Colton Hood and Avion Terrell. I think Chris Johnson out of San Diego State would be a reach here, but I know the NFL community's higher on him than I am. Brandon Cisse would also be a reach here. I really think it's going to come down to do they get corner or wide receiver and who do they have highest on their board.
I mean, like for injuries, you got to go McCoy here because let's look at the draft already. Jordan Tyson, Caleb Banks, Mesidor, Malachi Lawrence, and I believe Casey Concepcion had injuries as well. So, I mean, just don't be scared. No other team is scared. Just get the best corner. You need it pretty badly. I know you need wide receiver, but I don't know. Just do something later in the draft or even just wait till next year. I would, if they use this 27th pick, they traded up, right? Did they trade up or?
They traded up from 30 to do it.
So I would just be flabbergasted if they were like, Omar Cooper, we got our guy.
I'm gonna be curious if it's corner and then who they pick at corner. If they go Jermon McCoy or if I'm so far off I might be with corner and it ends up being like Brandon Cisse or Chris Johnson instead of Colton Hood or Avion Terrell or Jermon McCoy. Let's see what Goodell says.
With the 27th pick.
Hey, I know I'm ahead of you, so go when you go. Go when you see it.
Miami Dolphins select Chris Johnson, defensive back, San Diego State.
I had a feeling, man. I really did. That's a little rich for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Jermon McCoy was the definite #1 cornerback from his tape. When you watch his tape, forget that it was like 2 years ago and he hasn't played a year. It's the #1, and so I'm surprised. I thought Chris Johnson would be a little further down. No, I thought Brandon or Avion Terrell or Colt Hood and Jermon McCoy would be ahead of him. Was that 4 or 5 cornerbacks? I thought that would be ahead of Chris Johnson.
Yeah, about 3 corners. I would also even put DA.
I think all the Packer mock drafts had Chris Johnson being a guy that'd be available at 52.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm higher on Jermon McCoy, Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, and D'Angelo Pons before Chris Johnson.
I forgot Pons too. Oh my.
Because Pons, or excuse me, I was just going to say Cisse and Chris Johnson I was like a coin flip for me on their grades. And but I don't know. He's our 49th ranked player, and he just went at 27. So you take it away.
I like Chris Johnson. I'm trying to pull up what I had for him, but.
Well, I mean, Chris Johnson, he is 6 foot, 190 pounds. He ran a 4.4 40. He showed up at the combine. The film is solid. It's just the concerns with him, to be in all honesty with you, is because of what he did against lower level competition. Well, it looks like the Patriots just made a trade with the Bills that we missed while we're talking here. They're on the clock.
Wow, the Bills just keep on going back. Do they not have everybody? I wonder if one of their guys was Akeem or Malachi that they wanted real bad. So
maybe they're moving back, thinking they could still get Zion Young, and I think the Patriots just jumped the Niners to try to get Lomu, maybe a tackle.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Chris Johnson though, he'll be fine. He's super athletic, but it was just I thought that there would be a little more cornerbacks before him.
I agree.
Of all teams, the Patriots, by the way, just traded up for this pick.
See, Roger Goodell's coming up.
Just moved down twice. So the Patriots with their first pick, the AFC champion Patriots on the clock. No more.
With the 28th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Caleb Lomu.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the first round linemen, right? And some with
Keelan Rutledge.
Kalen Rutledge. So, wow, the linemen surely dominated. Last year, I thought it was a lot of. We had a surprise of D tackles, right, with Walter Nolan and Harmon, Mason Graham. There was a lot of
Tyleek
that, but
Williams.
now we got.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
so now it's just linemen. So you take it away with Lomu.
well, so like we talked about pre-draft show, right? We called our shot. I said offensive line would dominate this draft, first round specifically, and I said there'd be 9 offensive linemen taken. 9 offensive linemen are on the board. Daniel Jeremiah just said all of his offensive linemen in the top 50 are off the board. I disagree. I do think all of the tackles worth taking are gone, but there's still Jay Spasontos on the board, Emmanuel Pregnon. Those are 2 day 2 guards, but it just shows you the drop off of offensive tackle once we got past who's been taken. And Caleb Lomu, they showed it. His comp is Anthony Costanzo. My deal with him is he's just not a physical player. The weight scares you because they listed him at 305, but he looks like he's 290 pounds. I'd probably say he's the safest, most cleanest pass protector in the draft. Kyle Whittingham as well, first-round tackle. I've got Caleb Lomu as my 24th ranked player, 5th ranked tackle. You go get him at 28. That's going to allow you to probably put Will Campbell at guard or allow Caleb Lomu to play right tackle and Morgan Moses, who's 36, retire. You've got a tackle duo for the future. I like the process in the pick.
Yeah, it's just, do they not believe in Will Campbell? Is he going to be moved around?
I mean, I think that's fair now. Is he going to go in and play guard or? So I mean, I think that's definitely a question there for sure. I'm reading a tweet here right now. Apparently, the Steelers were on the phone with Mekhi Lemon, informing him they're taking him at 21. However, the Eagles tried calling Lemon after they traded to draft him.
That'd be wild.
That's from Ian.
And I could see that happening. I know. Yeah, they definitely wanted him. I bet fans are upset about that.
Probably so. But we are now at the last 4 picks of the first round of the draft, and we appreciate y'all riding along. We've had about 80 viewers through the entire stream, which has been pretty cool for you guys to ride with us and do that, so we appreciate it. And I mean, you'll get our full roundup of the offseason and the draft in the next episode of the War Room right after the draft goes through. I hope that you've enjoyed our little bit of take of sticking with our board and giving you a little bit of maybe a conflicting consensus as opposed to what you'd see. I can see that we picked up 3 new subscribers since we started the live stream, so I think that's really awesome, and we really appreciate that. And I mean, Liam, it's been a fun 3 hours spending with you talking about NFL football.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it so far. This is our first live. We've been going for 3 hours and 34 minutes. Isn't that awesome? So
rounding out.
Yeah. I'm excited to do this again next year already.
It's just gonna be fun. I mean, y'all are compounding the audience and the growth for us as we're continuing to just grow and grow and build, and we just look forward to continuing to do this with you. I mean, going forward, the War Room podcast is going nowhere. That's going to be the foundation of what we do. Is me and Liam looking at the NFL and talking everything from fantasy football, which is going to be the next wave, ranking, previewing all divisional rounds, giving you an idea of what NFL teams are going to do, talking about the offseason. Some newer stuff that we're going to start doing is we're going to rebuild teams in Madden from these draft picks. Y'all seem to really enjoy that, and something I look forward to doing as well is kind of our summer scouting series, where what I'm going to do to get ahead of it early is give you a sneak peek of the 2027 class in June. So that way, when we're all fumbling around in November and December, we actually know where we're going to start. And that's kind of the future of this channel going forward and what we're going to do with you guys. And we're not stopping. It's only moving and going forward.
Yes, sir. I was just browsing some of the tweets that I've seen, and it looks like the Jets fans are upset about their day. It looks like the Cowboys fans, there's actually a lot that are happy with how they moved around with their picks. They got Caleb Downs. Mason, I saw fans happy about Malachi Lawrence. You re-signed George Pickens today. It seems like it's not a bad day to be a Cowboy. You picked up a lot of more picks.
I mean,
Who was kind of bummed out? And then I saw Giants fans bummed about Francis Maui Noah before Caleb Downs. I saw a bunch saying this is gonna haunt me forever.
I don't know. I think that was the pick for them for the way they're going to try to build their team, and I think that they'll be able to get some, depth safety options like the AJ Halsey, Bud Clark, Zakay Wheatley, and they didn't have to force the Downs pick if that's what they want to go. But we got the Chiefs up here. I really don't know what they're going to do here, to be honest with you.
Oh wow. What a party.
The Kansas City Chiefs select Peter Woods.
Really, Peter Woods.
Clemson.
Chris Jones replacement?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's pretty close to that. I mean, he's not a nose tackle that is gonna run stop. I think he's very quick. He's more of an edge. Like if you could lose just a little more weight, he'd be a powerful I don't know what you would call it because it wouldn't really be an edge. I think he'd be a really good defensive end, but nose tackle Mason, he's not, right? What would you call Peter Woods? Because he doesn't have that weight, but he's great technique. He is super quick too.
He is a poor man's Aaron Donald. You line him up in the 3 technique and you let him go rush the passer. That is what he does at an elite level. They're kind of showing his film where he's lined up all over the defensive front. You put him in a 3 technique and a 4-down front, and you let him go rush the passer. You let him shoot gaps and disrupt laterally the run game. That is what he's incredible and elite at doing. He's got the twitch, speed, and burst. What concerns you is the character concerns with him of effort, and then also what he did in the 2024 tape to the 2025 tape. But you get him in the right situation, let him be a grown man, bring him into a championship culture with the Chiefs have. I really like the pick because Peter Woods is my 20th ranked player and they get him at 29. But a trade just happened. The Jets are now on the clock, Liam.
I thought that the Jets would maybe trade. Who traded out? Who?
The 49ers traded out.
Interesting. I thought the Jets would be one of the ones they were going to be competing with the Cardinals. I'm surprised. What is that? Who? Oh, that's just a fan. Even have a first round pick.
So, I mean,
that's a Packer fan.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking for the Seahawks to be.
The Jets just traded up. So I mean, like, who do you think they moved up for?
Their fans are disappointed with Kenyon Sadiq and David Bailey. I don't want to be wrong again. This has been a terrible day for me, Mason. You've been pretty good, but this has been terrible for me. I think they got to go cornerback here. You guys didn't have a pick last year. I think safety maybe, but I would rather go with Colt McCoy. I don't think the injury really matters. I heard that maybe his physical didn't come back great. I'm not in the room, so I can't know everything, but I think you got to take it now. We've said it. I think I said it 4 times tonight. He was the number 1 cornerback like a year ago before his injury, and now he's not even going to go in the first round.
Well,
we perfected the ACL injury. Take a risk.
Goodell's walking out. Let's see what they do here. I would go Jermon McCoy here too. I think he's the best player on the board, but I have a feeling that they wanted to jump into the first round to get a wide receiver.
With the 30th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad they didn't pick him at 16, to be honest with you, because I thought that's what they were going to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that he would go there, and I was going to just blow up if he went there. I already tweeted out that we need to have a welfare check on every Jets fan tonight.
Well, I mean, come on. Their offense is kind of a little exciting now with the playmakers they've added to it.
Okay, but was it the wide receiver was it the passing catchers that were the problem last year? I mean, how does Garrett Wilson need that much more help? They got Adonai Mitchell, now it's Omar Cooper Jr., and they got Mason Taylor, but now it's Kenyon Sadiq. I mean, I feel like they just have so much, like I don't understand what the Jets are doing here. I knew that I thought that they were gonna mess it up, and I really think I don't have the Jets as a big grade.
I don't know. The good
I
things
didn't
about
think Omar Cooper Jr. was that good.
uh,
Sorry, I've been really negative this draft.
no, you're good. I've been a little negative about some players myself. I think the important thing is we can't hate too much on their team fit. But I mean, the Jets have definitely been a little questionable with what they're doing. But I think they make that move because they want to jump maybe the Raiders trading up back in with the Raiders, and I think that they had a real conflict of are they going to take Omar at 16 or not. Instead, they are able to wait till 30 to get him. And I mean, the things that he has really well is he's a yak merchant. He's like Debo Samuel. What he did and made a living on was the RPO scheme out for the Indiana Hoosiers, where he'd throw out a bubble screen, he'd catch it and go make a play and run all over the field. And they'd scheme up looks where he could catch an intermediate crosser or a drag route and go run after the catch. What he doesn't do well is separate, but he's a playmaker that you're going to add into the offense. Well, I got to shut up because, Liam, another trade just went down. The Titans are now on the clock.
Tennessee Titans are back. Well, who did they want? They got Carnell Tate. Maybe they want Zion Young because a lot of people had them going like an edge rusher. They can't go running back here. No running back. I think they got to go. Cassius Howell's still there too. Is that too early?
No, I don't think it would be too early.
He had like 12 and a half sacks.
Cassius Howell wouldn't be too early. Jermod McCoy as well. I think that they could use help at corner. I know they signed a bunch of corners. Could it be for Denzel Boston? Could they go another wide receiver? There's not an offensive lineman worth taking here unless they go Chase Bisontos, maybe. But I feel like that'd be a little bit of a reach.
I don't know about that though. Yeah. I think they got to go defense. I was really surprised they didn't. There's a guy on the right who just like has hands off. He doesn't look like he likes the pick for the Titans. I think they got to go a defensive player for sure. Linebacker here, Mason?
It could be CJ Allen. Maybe.
I know it's too early, but yeah, I wouldn't love that. But when do they pick next? Because I guess what did they trade away?
That's the real
They probably
question.
traded away their pick 35. I need this to update because if they have this 31 pick and then they have 35.
I bet they trade away like 35 and 101 is probably what they did if I was a betting man.
Yeah.
I mean, surely they didn't make this trade up to go get Denzel Boston, right? Like, to me, the players we're taking on the board that are still there are 10th ranked players, Ramon McCoy, our 15th ranked player, Cade McDonald, our 21st ranked player, Keldrick Falk, and then
It's all defensive.
TJ Parker. He's a good edge that's sitting there as well that I think could be in play.
He's a great
here.
size.
Yeah, if I'm picking, it's got to be one of those edges because that's their need, right? Opposite.
The defense
Jermaine
has the
Johnson.
best value here.
We got Goodell coming up here.
Overall. And the Seahawks are on the clock, and then we'll be wrapping up our first night here from Pittsburgh, PA.
320,000 people at the draft.
That is wild.
Before the Titans pick,
Oh.
congratulations, you set a record for the first night of the draft. 320,000 people here tonight. Congratulations, Pittsburgh. Awesome. With the 31st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Keldrick.
I don't like it. I think the Titans had a terrible draft now.
Tell us about it. Why do you not like it?
I didn't think that Carnell Tate was necessary for the team's success this year. And okay, long term, this is the draft, right? I don't think that he was the guy. You just signed Wan'Dale Robinson. I thought Olik Manor was going to be a guy, like a kind of a steal guy. But yeah, and then you go and you get Keldrick Falk, who is like one of my least favorite edge rushers. He's not an edge rusher. He'll fit in fine. Robert Saleh is going to move him around. He's going to be a defensive end. He's great with the run stop. I mean, look at his size as he's walking through. He's 6'6". He's fantastic. I think out of edge rushers, I think he had like the most pass breakups
Yeah,
Because
batted balls.
he when he has his hands up in the air, he's 7 feet tall. So, um, playing against guys under quarterbacks under like 6'1", they gotta throw the ball with arch as soon as it goes across the line of scrimmage. They can't throw a bullet. So, um, he's not an edge. I've been thinking about this for a while. He'll be fine. Robert Saleh knows what he's doing, right? He's gonna put him in a spot where, maybe Mason, you have the technical terms for this, but I really don't. He's not going to be a guy that goes and gets the quarterback. So Titans fans can't be thinking about that right now. You got to be thinking about how good he's going to be at, especially stopping the run. And then he's got some all right technique. I'd have him down and probably late first, second round. So Robert Saleh, this is a great guy to go to. He'll have him right, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You think the same?
I think if there's gonna be a head coach that can maybe get Keldrick Falk to his ceiling of what you think he can be, it's got to be Robert Saleh, right? I do think that means that he's gonna play a strong side edge, and they're gonna leave him out on the edge, not make him be an interior defensive player because they run a 4-3 scheme. And I mean, I think he just reminds me a lot of, for you old heads in the chat here, he reminds me just a lot of Carlos Dunlap, just a bigger, powerful edge that doesn't have maybe the bend and torque speed-wise, but he's going to be able to bully tackles out on an island, and he's long, big, and physical. I think that gives a front that Robert Saleh can play around with Jermaine Johnson, Keldrick Falk, Jonathan Franklin Myers, and Jeffrey Simmons. And I mean, I may not have agreed with the process of how they did it because I wouldn't have gone Carnell Tate at 4. I would have liked their draft a lot more, Liam, if they took Ruben Bain at 4 and Denzel Boston right now. Honestly, I would have liked it.
I would agree with that.
But at the very least, they went around a bastardized way of getting kind of filling the needs that they have in the first round because they needed a number 2 wide receiver threat, and they needed an edge. And now I look at their team as the number 1 needs that they've got. They should fill out in the middle rounds is the offensive line, and then the middle part of their linebacker, because this isn't a year 1 rebuild, but they've at least put themselves in a position to be highly competitive in Cam Ward's sophomore year, and I think that's all Titans fans could have asked for.
Yeah. Value wise, like you said, I just think that getting Carnell Tate there and then getting Keldrick Falk, I think they just got bad value for both of those positions wise at the pick. Maybe we could break it down with a mathematical formula, but anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean, Carnell Tate, we had him as our 13th ranked player, and they took him 4th overall. But the plus side of that, I had Keldrick Falk as my 21st ranked player, and they get him at 31. So I mean, the value-wise kind of evens out. It's kind of like I was talking about. I don't love the route that they went to fill their needs, but I think they filled their needs pretty properly. It's just you don't like. I might be a little higher on Keldrick Falk than you are, but I mean, we've got some good football players falling out of the first round, like Jermod McCoy, Cade McDonald, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, TJ Parker, Colton Hood. These are good football players that I have high grades on.
Trying to find I saw a graphic the other day of it was like the past 20 drafts, and it was like the first wide receiver taken. So 4th overall in the past 20 years has been Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins, AJ Green, and Peter Warrick. Just maybe a fun little tidbit to show you where that pre-draft process they think Carnell Tate's at for 4th overall. That's not a fantastic group, but it's all right.
It's not terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the 31st overall pick. Now we got the Seahawks, who I was really set that they were going to be trading out of the first round to pick up like another 3rd and maybe like another 4th. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I guess probably though with all the
second,
movement, they're just going to sit here and take what they think is BPA. I would
Zion Young, right?
I would go Zion Young or Chase Bezontos, to be honest. What I'm not going to like is if they go Jadarian Price, because I have a 3rd round grade on Jadarian Price. I just don't think I think it'd be a pure need pick. But
maybe they lost a cornerback. I forgot which one it was. I apologize for that. But, quarterback here, Colt McCoy fell pretty far.
I'm thrilled to be joined by
One, wait, no, two cornerbacks. So,
Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, who bravely battled a brain tumor.
but they need an edge too. We know it's probably they don't go running back here. They'll pick a running back later.
I wouldn't go running back here. If they do, I think
I
it's
know our
just,
war dog Daniel Rice would lose his mind if they picked like Jaden Price
we
right
might
here.
have to call him up if that's what happens here and get him on for a little live.
Because he hated it when they picked Charbonnet
Yeah.
and Kenneth Walker. I think he hated both of those picks.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the pick is here.
What's going on with
Oh,
This kid is fantastic.
I'm so excited.
This kid is fantastic.
freaking my ears are dying.
And the reigning Super Bowl champion And with that, with the 32nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Jadarian Price.
Oh, what a
Notre Dame
reach!
running back.
Live FaceTiming our boy DJ Rice here.
Sorry, that was showing. There you go. He's not gonna. What are you doing? You know what?
Dude, I do not love it.
Yeah, hey.
I know. You go. Running back again, huh?
Dude, I just think I don't know, man. Like I'm honestly fine with the Green Bay fucking guy we got. Whatever his name.
Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with him and Sharp at this point. I don't want to spend a damn first rounder on a. I think he's solid, but
Who did you want right there?
I honestly wanted Terrell, Avion Terrell, bro. That's kind of who I wanted. They're one of the best corners left.
What about edge?
I mean, I guess we could. Zion Young, we could have done, but I don't know. I really kind of wanted somebody to replace Woolen.
All right. Well, hey, we just wanted your reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love it at all. I think it's the L pick.
All right.
I don't know. I know better better enough not to doubt Schneider anymore, so I'm not.
All right. We'll talk to you in a bit.
I'm gonna trust in my boys. So.
All right. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too, man.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. I think our viewers that were still hanging with us got to hear it. But I mean, y'all, that's the full first round, Liam. I mean, I'm looking at this, and there's some crazy picks and swings that happened here. I mean, the amount of trades, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades in the first round.
Absolutely crazy. When was the last time that happened? 8 trades?
That might be that's got to be some kind of record, right? It's more
Everybody's board was broken.
Yeah, I don't think anybody kind of saw this playing out the way that it did. But y'all, that ends the marathon stream of 4 hours live in the War Room for the NFL Draft. I know me and Liam this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. We appreciate y'all hanging out and riding with us. We'll have a full winners and losers draft day grades video in the next episode of the War Room that'll come out after the couple days. But we wanted to live react, look at these picks with you guys because we think it's important to give you the option, if you want to, as our audience, to kind of chime in for a chat. But y'all drop your take after the live stream of where you think the picks should have shaken out. But we appreciate you riding with us. Liam, you got anything else to say?
Thank you, everybody. We had a pretty good stream, I thought. I wasn't expecting much. We got 13 likes, a couple comments, so I was hyped. So thank you.
We appreciate it. Well,